everyone? Welcome back to Spelljammer 998, session 38. Last week was 37 and a half, so 2 weeks ago on Spelljammer 998, you guys found yourselves wrapped up in a little bit of a precarious situation as you got caught in what appeared to be a terrifying wombo combo from these star spawn. I've been calling them emissaries. I think that's the plural term for these guys. One was a Starspawn Hulk, one was a Starspawn Seer, who proceeded to drop psychic bombs on you guys using evil Dr. Manhattans, which y'all called him. It was
He's pulling his cock
interesting. He was indeed pulling his cock out. Unfortunately, y'all got a very solid round the week before that. The Starspawn Seer went down, I think right after that same round. Echo put an arrow through his eye, and you guys managed to survive that fight and spend a little bit of time in the Starspawn Sanctuary, a very large cavern riddled with runes, writings, glyphs, all layered over top of each other, written in different things. I keep saying substrates. I don't think that's really the right term, but written in different substances. Y'all took some rubbings of that before kind of patching yourselves up, doing some healing. I think you guys got to meet Cordo for the first time. I think that was the first time Drix got to use his healing spirit, and y'all saw Cordo's little myconid self. Throw that up there, Devin, on this recording. After that, you guys proceeded deeper into that section of the dungeon and found what appeared to be the unknowable one's, I don't want to call it scrapyard. It's like his shed almost. There was books, potions, shelves of all kinds, half-finished Void Forge that he hadn't finished designing. You guys pilfered several magical items from this area, particularly a book of his, a big old crystal ball was on his desk. And there was a third thing that came out of his office that I can't remember right now. But y'all got several things out of that. Drix and being always on fleek, managed to notice that y'all weren't alone in this area and kept you guys from being surprised as you dealt with what the unknowable one would call his pets. These were the Void Forge octopus dudes, which actually didn't give you guys as much trouble as I thought they would, which is both great and not great, because that just means next time there will be 7 of them. After that, you guys take a little bit of time to kind of plan. That's mostly a joke. You guys take a little bit of time to plan and inspect some of the items. Y'all look at some of the potions. You don't identify anything. But afterwards, using the Shadow Globe, you guys make your way back out to the front-ish of the dungeon. You check a path that you had not previously checked to find it loops back to an area you had already seen. And then you finally backtrack to a room that you thought was suspicious. You thought might have had some sirloins in it, or some sirloins. And which Randy found some, I'll call them discarded humanoids, and decided to do what Randys do, I guess, and make sure that they're not suffering anymore. Sad face, but not sad face. I think I said last week, because that recording won't get published, that I thought Randy did the right thing. Anyway, that was 2 weeks ago. Last week, for those of you that may be confused watching this, we did have a session. We hashed out a bunch of shit that would have been fun to watch. So we're going to reference some of that stuff. We're going to get everybody caught up, and it's going to be fun. I hope. Questions, comments, concerns, shenanigans, bullshit.
I just have to ask, Brandon, did you have that cock out thing ready? Because that was quick. Like, you were quick on the draw. Did you know it was coming?
Kind of yes and no. I was like, I think he might mention Dr. Manhattan here in a second. If he does, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Killed me. Okay, that's right.
Man had the leaked script or something. Good lord.
It's awesome.
God, I wish I could write scripts before session. Maybe I should script a recap.
It'll just piss you off when we derail from that.
Thanks.
He prepared a whole monologue. We
Yeah,
killed the
2
guy.
lines into the script and then just immediately off the
These nuts.
Accurate.
Oh boy, it do be that way. Okay, so y'all, and it doesn't sound like that sounds like y'all shenanigans.
One thing, I guess, from
Okay.
last session, Randy did not trust that Echo had disappeared for a little bit. And he was worried that I might have been turned into whatever we're calling him. The chipped up.
A compromised individual. That is something last session y'all mentioned that I added to my headcanon was that y'all said after that you go around in pairs, and I kind of like that idea. That y'all would move around in pairs.
I'm going around
to
in
maintain
pairs.
safety.
Echo just makes his Echo always in pairs. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right. Yeah, and something else I guess that is not of super consequence that won't be published because of last week is that y'all invited Aurelius along on the expedition. So that is something that happened. Echo and Randy did have a conversation. I think those are the only big ones. The rest of it was let's enchant this or that, or look at this or that, or buy this or that.
And there was you didn't want to reveal too much of what I might have found out until.
For sure, that's what we're
recording.
going to do here in a second. If there's no more shenanigans, we're going to get started. Oh boy, y'all, here we go. So we're gonna start at the 3 weeks of downtime that you have right after you guys get back to. This is probably right after you finish talking to Aurelius. You did talk to the Mercane about something I thought, but I think it was not of major importance. I don't think you actually bought anything before you went back to Eberron and back home. So we will start at the beginning of that 3 weeks. We'll fast forward all through all the stuff that we did last week. But first, I believe you guys needed to go talk to Sly, because we established y'all had not been to give your mission update. So that was... Y'all don't have to do that first if you have more things to discuss, but that will take place chronologically at the beginning of this downtime. Oh boy.
I'll just say, to make it quick, spent part of the downtime enchanting some items. Echo's bow now has 2 charges of fireball. And then Randy has a gun that has a little more boom to it. And Zephyr's Ferret Nova has an abjurative collar to do shield, I think, twice a day. So and I've spent some time learning spells. That's our arcane shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. I have a little narration for some of the other stuff too. I kind of like to picture for y'all will see anyway. Anything else before y'all go talk to Sly?
Official petition to rename the revolver a boom cannon. It's a boom cannon now.
I second that motion.
I'll have
Okay.
Aye.
Or what is it? The
What is this,
blunderbuss?
Baptist Church?
Is that what it was in what was that game? Shit.
I think
Which
you're right.
one?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, Destiny. Is that what they called that one?
Destiny, they had the hand cannon.
Oh, it was just hand cannon. Okay.
The only blunderbuss I'm familiar with is from Bloodborne. It's a pistol you can stagger people with. What? This is my boomstick. Don't you reference him. Anyway.
Of course, Evan doesn't know that one.
It sounds like the motion is approved. I'll rename that to boomstick, boom cannon. Pardon. All right. Well, Randy now has a boom cannon.
Is that
I'm not
Mad
gonna make
Max?
that joke. I'm not gonna make that joke.
Devin
Is it
named my
Mad
bow the Boogeyman's bow.
I did name it the Boogeyman's bow.
Yeah, I like
Which-
that.
We can keep that
Baba
name if you
Yaga.
want, but also, Baba Yaga is even better one for your final bow if you don't want it to be Echo's bow. All right. Anyway, we can talk.
Boba Yaga.
Boba Yaga.
Oh my God! Yes.
He's always gonna finish it. He's like, I can't handle this. I can't do it.
I love for that defeated side, Devin.
Oh my
I
God!
understand.
man.
I respect that.
It may not be the official name, but I'm calling it that from now on.
Yoga.
Boba Yaga.
Got a good wine like that. Shame on me. Good-ish wine. All right, y'all. Sounds like y'all are going to go give your sit rep to Sly. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Question about that. What you had sent me, I don't technically know that at this point of talking to Sly.
No, sir. I would say, because that's what he gathers over the 3 weeks.
So just
We
a
can
slide
maybe-
it gives me some of this?
No, most of that would all come from chance.
Okay.
Unless there's a particular thing you want to message me that Sly
Alright.
gives you. Wherever you're going with this, I'd be interested to see. 2 seconds, I don't have a wine key.
A wine key?
He's drinking the good shit.
What's a,
Well,
what's a
good.
wine key?
The good shit, it's what you open a bottle of wine with.
Oh,
The good shit's
Corkscrew.
almost gone, so now I have to open the shitty Walmart bottle. But I'll
Yeah,
do that
you-
later, I guess.
you got a fancy automatic one where you just
No.
push a button and it goes.
I have a restaurant one that you. They're not fun to use if you've never used them. You have to. It's so you can do it one hand. When you hold the bottle like this at the table, you hold it like this, and you can't turn the label away from them when you're showing them the bottle. Wine service is dumb. Anyway, y'all go talk to Sly. I'm assuming. Anything on the way? I feel like we're trying so hard to be off the rails, and I'm trying so hard.
Definitely traveling in pairs.
So I'm just picturing like it's like all going as a group. It's like 2 of you are like sneaking around, 2 of you sneaking around somewhere else.
No,
all broken up.
I'm holding hands with somebody. That's how I do it now.
I'll hold your little hand.
We're holding hands, but we're invisible and like half a mile ahead.
Hey, I was picturing y'all like Naruto running on the rooftops, like holding hands. Like
they're holding a little. It's good. They got the. They're still arms back.
There's Steve Irwin in the background. You see, when they're mating, they run together.
So now that I think about it, Cade is at Mantis HQ. You could just summon to Sly to Mantis HQ if you wanted. That's kind of up to y'all.
It would be good.
We just got back from a long trip. We're tired. We want a fucking bath.
And we make sure that no house guests are out roaming.
Go
through and check.
Okay. So I like to imagine it like this. You guys get in. Cade's very happy to see you guys. Glad to see you're all still in one piece. Some of you probably look a little rough after that encounter. You're also laden with a crystal ball. I guess the void spears are in the bag, but y'all have some gear on you. Echo's got this badass crystal sword, like all kinds of crazy stuff. And he, of course, let you guys get a night of rest that night, but the next morning he would call Sly, or he would approach you guys about calling Sly, and then he would call Sly, and we'll fast forward to the best part where y'all are all here in this little foyer here. I've already got Sly's token there. I'm going to put Cade's token down. As Sly comes through the door, let me think about this. I'm trying to remember if y'all ever have been paid for this. I know he gave y'all money last time he was here. What the fuck is Cade's token? Pardon. Anyway, we're just gonna do funny Cade. Incoming big picture. Oh god, it's huge. Sorry. Sure. Okay. Sly comes through the door, I guess carrying bottles of liquor. That's been the norm for Cade. For Sly. A bottle of liquor, sets it down, and takes his usual. I like to imagine he sits at these tables and he kicks his feet up on the table and kind of leans back. He says, well, y'all came back in one piece. That's actually a very good sign, I hope. Cade said y'all had something to report.
I want to make a One Piece joke so bad, but I'm not going to do it. What do we have to report? I mean,
I was about to say.
We cleared the dungeon. What do you want from us? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we've talked to him since we cleared out the place that had all the Mind Flayer brains, right?
Yes.
Updated. Okay, so he only needs to know about the last 10.
And he that's the reason he sent y'all in there, is he figured they're making them there. He didn't know the details.
We found some interesting documentation. We'll show the maps, the things we found about like what their plans are, the ciphered stuff from the room with all the gibberish on it. Was this the one with the teleportation circle, or was that the last one? I think that was the last.
There was a teleportation circle, and I think you explicitly said you wanted to copy it down, because you used the quill to do it.
We found the Forge Foundry, the Forged
Creation Forge.
Creation Forge that they had been replicating these in. We found quite a few models as well as some new ones that he was working on. I'm pretty sure we had Drix go ham and blow up everything in there, yeah?
He did smash.
Within the forge, yeah.
Yeah. Smash
destroyed all the models we could and took what we believe are the power source.
Anything that can break is broke, man.
Well, that is mighty fine to hear. Now, I'm curious where this power source is, and if you remember, he had warned you guys that anything strong enough to power a creation forge, he believed to be very dangerous. So you can see him kind of looking around for it. But
I'll start by pulling out the prototype, or like the smaller void sphere, and place it on the table in front of him.
You can see, like, well, I guess since you touched it, he would pick it up. He looks at it and says, "Have you identified this, Demos?"
Indeed, it capable of very powerful magic, as well as consuming other things. That might be the other one, but consuming other things for its power source. Sure. Yeah, it can eat matter. That's what I thought.
Yeah. It's actually the only one that could eat matter.
Really, big one.
Oh, I looked at that. Sort of. I looked at that before I decided. Oh, it's so high though, and it wasn't odd or even. Okay. He holds it. He kind of turns it over his hand. He says, I am not an expert on these things, but I have been in fair contact with Aaron DeCanneth and the team up there in Undair. This does not quite seem like something I would expect to power an entire forge.
Well, as we said, there were more than one. Fuck, I don't want to message. Fuck it, I'll just pull out the main void sphere as well.
So this one, like I said, is basketball sized.
Before you do that, oh god, I wonder if I would pick up any context clues that you're trying to be squirrely about it. If he seems like he's going to reach in there and grab it, I will telepathically shoot him a message and remind him that it seemed like trying to dislodge it caused harm to the people who were touching it. I don't know if it was because it was plugged into the machine or if it was because of what it is, but there's that. Be
I
careful.
kind of thought because unplugging it, but that's a good point. Guess I'm about to find out.
Demos, you reach into the bag, you summon the... I think you have to use both hands, like, I don't know, Dragonborn's probably... Only some humans can hold a basketball with one hand. My hands are not nearly big enough.
Well, I guess that's counting his horns. He's 7 foot somewhere-ish. But
it might be difficult. I
his
imagine
scales give me grip.
I suppose your hands would be... But it's also heavier than a basketball. I think I made it 15 pounds on the thing.
What if I'm spinning it? Can I do a performance check?
Anyway, you do...
Arcanars can do that. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
You do manage to slurp it out of the bag of holding. It does not shock or psionically maim you in any way.
Damn.
And as you're holding, as you pull it, holding your hand, you can see like slide, just like one eyebrow goes up a little bit. And he's like, "That is a little closer to what I had in mind." And he just looks wary more than anything else. He says, "I'm assuming you've identified this one too."
I had a question before I answer this. He does not know about the orrery. Is that correct?
No, he does not.
Correct. It seems to have more advanced powers than this, what we believe is a prototype. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
And can you tell me about how you got it?
We unplugged it from the forge? I forget where the small one was.
The small one was in a statue.
Statue, that's right.
It kind of animated the statue.
And it wasn't the statue that was in the vampire's basement, right?
No, sir.
Oh yeah, there's a vampire.
For reference, in the vampire's basement, it was one of the Sovereign Six. It was a god or goddess of darkness. The thing you guys saw, the statue you guys saw in the unknowable one's lair, did not look anything like that. But if you tell him, if you describe to him the experience of pulling it out of the creation forge, he kind of nods. And he says, "I appreciate that. That does sound like was probably the power source. And hopefully, since you all have it, that means they can't make any more of them metal fuckers anymore. Now, really, I guess the important matter is which one of us is gonna hold on to it."
Meta-wise, this can power the orrery, which we're taking with us, so I want to keep the big one. The other one can power the orrery to medium power, which, granted, I don't know if we need to do all the stuff that it can do. At high power, capable of seeing pieces of the prophecy and locating the crown much faster, can look backwards and forward in time at will. I kind of think we want to keep the big one. Anybody feel?
Yeah.
Do we want
I'm
to keep
debating
both?
whether or not we even give the small one to him.
I mean, I'm okay with negotiating.
This is
We've
early
managed
still.
to keep it safe so far. It's probably better for you, Sly, that we hold on to it.
Now, y'all just got it in fairness. Now, that being said, that is my only question. If this really powers their mode of creating troops, they are going to want it back. That makes it dangerous to carry around. I can put it in, for lack of a better term, it can go deep into the vaults in Undair, or maybe even a different country. If and y'all want to hang on to it, I can't argue all that much, but you should know that they could be ramifications from the enemy, not from me.
I mean, I would imagine that the ramifications are going to be there whether we keep one or both, or small or big.
I mean, maybe y'all get lucky. Maybe they just send every one of them metal things they have left here to the house. You can kill them all at once.
Would you be willing to provide backup if an army of metal soldiers comes to our doorstep?
This is quite a nice investment property. I would hate to see it laid waste to.
Fucking Sly the capitalist. I love it.
There's a farm over 5 miles east. Can we relocate over there?
I love that. A farm 5 miles out of Sharn. This is now Eberron Ranch Simulator. Here we go.
Tower defense.
Fucking
What's
love
a date?
tower defense games.
Once a day, you just have to roll to see if Drix ate any of the chickens.
No, you
More
roll to see
about
how many chickens
he
he ate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like a D10. That's
I was gonna say at least a D8, like God, plus a modifier, plus your con score.
Did you know they had
Hey.
this tenderloin here?
The little birds
Okay.
outside are amazing.
Snacks whenever you want it. Fresh, live snacks whenever you want it. Live bait. All right. So,
Gavin,
if
not
anything,
chickens.
My
Be
vote
anything
is
else
to
y'all can
hold
tell
on to
me.
both.
Go to both.
My
Hold
vote
on to
is
both.
to hold on to both.
Oh, I see.
But
I want to at
didn't-
least hold on to the big one.
Yeah, and he doesn't
That's right.
seem. Well, he may not seem. Oh well, yeah. That's. I think we've got 3 for holding on to it. It sounds like holding on to it.
Yeah, keep them.
That's what I thought. And he doesn't look entirely displeased. He might look a little disappointed, but he kind of shrugs. He says, y'all at this point, y'all are the foremost experts on this particular line of work. If and y'all
Like
feel
the
like it's
5
best." Yeah. All right.
5
If I had
minutes
more
got it.
wine, I would be drinking it. Anyway.
I would ask him
Now's
real
your
quick.
chance.
Are there any safes or anything on the property?
Probably. You would have like what would be the equivalent of your treasury. There probably wouldn't be a safe in a setting like this. It would be a big lockbox.
So I'm
Big en-
looking at
big
the
enough to hold 'em?
spheres. I see that they can hold like mass. Can hold an infinite amount of gold worth of matter, and is capable of casting the following spells. Or it can hold up to 20,000 gold worth of matter. Can I try to see if there's matter already in it?
You can. You can do that on Sly right there.
Fuck, I'm trying to decide if I would have. I didn't think about it till now, but part of me is thinking I would have done it when I identified it because I don't remember seeing that the other part, or I overlooked it. So yeah, can I say we try to do that when we were identifying it?
I don't think so. The description's not changed.
One more time.
It's just been ripped. It's just been put onto actual D&D stat block, beyond stat block. So it could do that when you identified it, or at least the notes said it could. I'm pretty sure.
Endless
Anyway.
amount of energy. Powerful worry.
You could wait till Sly leaves to do that too. But
Yeah,
he's
I don't
not.
look in front of them.
Should we
Okay.
explicitly tell him about the what we assume about this whole ceremony party, the auto-gnome celebration? Have we already told him about that? I don't think we have.
Unsure.
I don't think y'all have told him about it. No, about the ceremony.
He has her notes, but I definitely will make him aware just because I don't see any harm in letting him know. So I'd shoot him a quick line and say, by the way, some of the notes we found, it sounds like this feller, the unknowable one, whatever his real name is, and his allies are planning on raiding some kind of Decanate party. I think it's the Auto Gnome celebration coming up in a couple weeks.
That is good to know. I had already planned to send Cade there. Are you all planning to attend?
If Kate will be there, I guess I'll go.
Cade blushes.
Provide backup.
Okay. That is good to know. I can have more than one set of boots on the ground. If and y'all find a more lucrative opportunity, let me know and I will make up the difference. He kind of rolls his shoulders. He says, I understand y'all those objects, but I do need as many details as you can give me about the layer itself. Meaning the unknowable one's lair.
I think
Or I would much appreciate, he would say.
Is there anything we want to keep secret? I'm trying to recall everything we found. I don't think there's anything.
I don't think there was
trying to
anything
think,
there of importance. Like
maybe?
we showed him the paperwork, like the documents we got, and that was really the only secret anything I feel like we found for the most part.
I would also like, in giving him those, I'm kind of wanting him to have his people work on them.
Rubbings
they have
that y'all took?
Because we're
I'll
going to
work
be
with-
deciphering it.
Yeah,
We
I
had
was
already
say, I assumed
technically-
y'all
Oh,
were
that's
gonna,
right.
it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assumed y'all were gonna hang on to that stuff to work on it over the downtime.
Yeah. I thought we didn't do it last week, but I think I remember we saying that we're going to save that for Cameron.
Right.
Yeah.
I
He
think,
could take
okay,
copies
if
of
we
it.
tell him, yeah, or that we got him. Yeah, nothing really secret that I could think
And
of.
I was about to say, so and really, like he would grill you guys like he normally does, but instead of a lot of times he's tricky trying to get information out of you. This time it's just like, what was the layout like? How many things were there? What was going on in there? He seems to really just be hunting for the nitty gritty details of what was going on in the base.
There was a bunch of weird glyphs. I even wrote some down. Like, that's what the floors looked like.
That's pretty good representation.
There was a guy with a beard coming out of his digestive tract.
Malbeard, yeah. Captain Malbeard, I think.
There was a couple of black swirly things that were strangely erotic.
Randy went into a room by himself and came out covered in blood and said everything was fine.
That's just part of
Well,
it.
nothing weird there.
I thought that happens all the time with you.
Hey, sometimes
Good.
it disappears, sometimes it come back, sometimes there's blood, sometimes there's not. I don't know what to tell you.
Sometimes you'll fucking wander out of a room with a beholder following you. Some things just happen.
The life of a scout.
Quick question.
Go on.
When Sly's asking about the layer, like practically asking us all these details, is it more inquisitive or does he seem like scared?
Make an insight check.
The question was he scared?
Is he a little bitch?
Or
And I
if he's
just
being- does he look like a bitch?
like,
I have seen that movie.
hey,
Wearing a lot of rose gold.
20. Good job, Drix. Solid.
fuck it.
So, Drix, the vibe is just a little weird. He doesn't seem scared. He seems tired. He seems like you've not seen Sly exhibit a lot of symptoms of stress. And I mentioned earlier that he spends a good bit of time grilling you guys in a way that he's trying to trick you into giving up information. This time, he seems like he is just here to get the details about the dungeon and to get the fuck out. He strikes you as a guy who is too tired or does not have time to play the games, and is just trying to get the details that he needs and get out.
No, I'm gonna call him out on it.
Okay.
I'm like, seems a bit more to the point than usual, Sly. The proverbial bush has not been beat around, so to speak.
Seems like you speak common a lot better than your friend speaks Thacreen over there.
Accurate.
Things have been stressful. I had my hands full with out-of-country affairs, which is not in my salary requirements, if I'm being honest.
got any info that could pertain to us? I mean, you mentioned how the enemy might want his balls back, but do you know of anybody, any other organization that might want a piece of this that we should be looking out for?
Unless we are compromised. We, being y'all in the eyes, should be the only ones that know anything about it. I don't know anything that pertains to y'all specifically, but maintaining security around Aaron DeKenneth has been much more taxing than we might have realized. I'm not at liberty to say much more.
Aaron DeKenneth.
He's the VIP y'all escorted out of the country, and handed off to another team.
Gotcha.
Well, you do seem a bit tired. Is there anything we can help with? Definitely let me know. Just lay your chips on the table. Look at his eyes a little bit.
He's gonna make an insight check. Insight's intelligence.
Insight's wisdom.
Wisdom.
Oh. Okay, still not good for him. He's a bard. I didn't mean to roll 2 of those. Hold on.
It was 12.
Okay. He'll kind of chuckle.
Were the first 2 rolls 6? Am I reading that right?
Well, yeah, I clicked 2d20 instead of a d20 on
But
accident.
you rolled 2 6s in a row. It looks like to me, DM.
Yeah, no, that's why. But
30 to 1 odds on the crap table.
he'll look craps. Oh, craps. I want to play craps. Anyway, he kind of chuckles. He says, "I can understand that you may be a little suspicious, Brand. And I guess because he just doesn't. That's not true. He knows. Okay, he will take out this little, like, 1.5, 2-inch, itty bitty little dagger. You guys can see it's plated in silver. And he'll pull a cut across his arm and show you his arm.
Hey, that dagger looks pretty normal size to me. I'd say it's about average, but
What is this, a dagger for ants?
See, look, Fred, I am who I say I am. I promise you, as I've said before, if I were compromised, whoever it was that replaced me would not be walking around long.
I have a question. We've been in battle several times. Does Echo bleed? Because you're a changeling?
Yeah.
Echo does bleed? Bleed red blood?
That's what I was going to say. Like, I don't know why I want to say white blood, but I think normally.
I think it would depend on if you look like a human, you would bleed red blood. But the point here was that his dagger was silver. In kind of the same vein, like if he were, silver would affect him.
We were...
A change.
Well, I hit Echo with
silver.
the moon being later.
Oh, I didn't know that they had silver vulnerability.
They may not, but it makes flavorful.
Yeah, I mean, werewolf shapeshifters. Yeah, I could,
According to a quick Google question, it says changing blood is milky white and almost as thin as water.
It's not.
Oh, so that sounds like it means Echo bleeds white. Interesting.
White. Okay.
I like it.
So I thought that's what he was proving, that he wasn't a changeling. I didn't realize that it was a silver focus. I thought he was showing, I'm bleeding, this is me.
Well, that works better if they don't bleed red. So, but he would do his best to demonstrate that he is sly.
I would do my best to discreetly try to get away from that silver dagger.
It's like,
By the way, when I enchanted your bow, I engraved it with silver. You're welcome.
What a dick.
Like you don't touch it. It's like being close to kryptonite. Like you just have to stare at like the little silver leaf engravings on the top and bottom, like where the arms attach.
Starting to slowly unchange.
There's ancient draconic runes in the back that say, I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast fireball.
Right.
Oh boy. But he'll say, now, as far as help, y'all handle whatever's going on with the ceremony. Y'all square away any business you have with this unknown one, and we can talk about high value jobs as Aaron's bodyguards.
In Eberron? Or excuse me, in Breland?
in Undare.
Under, yeah.
And now I don't. Maybe I'll set it this way. I was of the understanding y'all were gonna be gone for some time. I don't think y'all told him exactly what, but I think y'all had said you were going to be gone for a time, or maybe Echo told his employers that.
Truth be told, we are leaving on an expedition, which House to Kenneth, not Breed.
Bree is really Bree / Moregrave is the owners of that project.
I gotcha. Are taking quite a lengthy expedition. We're not quite sure when we'll be back. At least several months ago.
I think we did the math. It was like at least 1.5 years. That's just in travel time. 9 months to get there.
Yeah, that's assuming you broke through and came right back.
Right.
So you guys could probably see several things on his face, like maybe a little surprised. Also, some gears turning in his head. You gather that because he does what he does. That has put some pieces together for him. He spied on y'all some and got some information, and now he's kind of clicking some stuff together when y'all tell him that. He'll say that is to assume this has to do with whatever Miss Silverport has buttoned up real tight over there in that warehouse she has. He kind of shrugs. He says, I hope y'all understand if you're gone too long, I have to repo your ship and your equipment.
How would you define too long? And what if our ship is with us?
What's that? Well, now, surely y'all wouldn't be,
Didn't we sign a pact?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would be curious as if that would violate that. If we would be in his good graces to either disband it if necessary.
That is definitely an option. I would prefer if we could stay in contact if y'all were still able to, just depending on what y'all are doing, sometimes information is worth maintaining those contracts.
I don't
We
think
could
we had
perhaps-
an intent to violate anything like that. Just more of a professional courtesy to let you know we're going to be
Correct.
gone for a long time.
And
Sabbatical?
this information we'll be learning along the way will be unprecedented. You will be the first to have access to rather interesting information.
That's kind of cryptic, Demos, but I will have to take y'all's word for it at this time. If I'm being quite honest with all of you, and if you can you have, it seems, for now, stopped these things from crawling out from the depths of Sean. And considering you carry around the power source, I can't imagine that you won't end up crossing paths with whatever's causing all of this. If and y'all take care of that, then I ain't gonna complain too much about a sabbatical. Y'all remember that my job mostly is to keep the status quo the same around here. Right now, that's the biggest upsetter. Besides those goddamn Neogi.
Wait, what?
Sovereign's Dam Neogi.
There's Neogi here?
Makes a face. Not here, in under.
Is that who's after Aaron?
He shrugs. But I like to think he makes eye contact with you, shrugs, then breaks the eye contact.
Can I roll an insight check to see if...
I would
He's
say
lying?
you gather he's not really at liberty to say, but you're probably on the money.
We
That's
hate
good.
Neogi too.
Mm-hmm.
Rather delicious if you fry it right. Like, mwah.
Someone referenced Neogi Caviar? I missed it. Okay. If there's not if there's not anything else y'all have for me, I will let y'all get to it.
Is he saying that if we're... Well, I guess I'll ask him. Are you saying that if we're gone for too long, you're going... I don't know. Sell the house? Turn it over? Toss out our junk?
Gonna close the farm.
Not so much turn it over, but should I find myself in a similar situation with another group of Wildspacers, I might need the space again. If that's
Would it matter
a
of
year after
money?
you're gone or 2 years after you're gone, I couldn't know.
We pay our rent on time
No.
every month. If we
Could
give
we-
you 2 years up front,
Surely the Oz have more secure properties. Could we perhaps leave a down payment? Pay a year or two in advance?
Ian's offering to buy this place.
What's your price tag?
It's
Devin
within
doing real
y'all's,
estate
it's,
calculations.
it's within y'all's price. It's within
17
y'all's price
bedroom,
range.
3-floor mansion.
So think about it this way, like 1 gold or 2 gold is more than a commoner would see in their lifetime. A 3, 4, 5, 10 gold is a fortune to an artisan, to a blacksmith, to a craftsman. So, I would think a mansion would be 15, 20, 25,000 gold. Because really, like, Spelljammers are 30, 40, and 50. I can't picture a mansion being more than, like, the most cutting-edge technology of the time. So, I think he would quote y'all, like, 30,000. Because he wants his... what's it called? Pound of flesh? The right term?
I don't know the exact amount we have.
more
we
like 30 pieces of silver.
We could, in theory, pay that. But how about we pay half now, and if we return, we'll pay the other half.
What if we say if in 2 years' time we don't come back or you don't hear from us, then you're free to rent it out?
1,500's an awful lot. Maybe we'll say 3 years.
What if you
But-
what if you drop the price a little bit and we just say, hey, if we're not back or if we're not back soon enough, you can rent it out, make a little extra coin on the side, rent our house out, know what I'm saying? But if we come
Yeah,
back,
that's
I'm kicking
It's
them out.
hard. It's hard to rent out a espionage organization headquarters. Tell you what, I have 1,000 silver pieces. Blah 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 blah. I have 1,000 platinum pieces in my pocket, in case y'all attempted to extort me for more coin, as y'all like to do.
It's a bad
Y'all
barter
give-
move, dude. Don't tell us how much money you have.
Y'all give me 500 platinum. I will hold this in escrow for 2 years.
100
I don't think escrow
platinum
is
is
the right term.
5,000 gold. We have 70. Granted, we've spent some stuff, but we have about 70,000.
He's pretty much offering that you can give him 5,000, he can keep his 10,000, and that would be your 15,000 down payment.
Listen, Drix doesn't have any idea how financing works.
Dix is like, give me the fucking house.
I'll give you the shiny stuff, and you give me the other thing.
You said we have 70 demos?
70,000? Yeah.
I think we have more than that. I think we had like 90.
Either way,
Counting-
what's 5?
Counting the party bank, I think we have like 99, but I don't know what. I don't have 29,000 gold, so I don't know who has that much to really bump it up that much. But 5,000 gold.
Well, you have a good bit. You're probably still around 80,000. Yeah, okay.
And we
Now, of
expect
course-
a housekeeper to come by and keep it clean at least once a week.
Sly looks at Cade.
No.
Don't do
I didn't mean like that.
And this would be interesting. Guys, I need you to vote odd or even.
Or even.
A group odd or even?
Yeah, you're gonna
Usually
pick.
go odd.
I
How we
think
feeling?
majority.
I always
everybody
vote
goes-
odd.
I was about to say I go odd.
All right,
Barbara,
there
you
it
still
is.
don't have a voice.
Yeah, poor Barb.
It comes and goes.
God damn, I'm sorry.
Is that what she said? I don't know
Yes.
if that works.
I don't know if that was a Michael Scott joke or not there, Devin.
I can't stand Michael Scott. I heard odd.
Odd. Yes!
The only time
Okay.
I'm happy to get a 1.
Okay. Cade takes a deep breath. He reaches up, squeezes his hat, and pulls it down on his head a little lower. He turns to look at Sly and he says, actually, Mr. Sly, they've offered me to come with them. And I reckon I'm going. You can see Sly, probably more surprised than you've seen him looking the same. Furrows his brow for a second. He says, well, you are free to do as you please, Miss Cade. If it's all the same to you, I will have to remove you from the payroll when that time comes. No, not any time, not right this second. I understand that contractors are free to choose their employers. You can tell he looks a little disappointed. Not like dad disappointed in you, but like apprentice outgrowing you, kind of disappointed.
Would Kate still be able to be employed when he came back?
What are you doing?
He's opening that
if-
wine bottle
put that-
finally.
put that
He's
poor
choking a
animal
duck
down.
off screen.
I am opening the wall. Oh, I'm
He's
sorry.
pulling a
a
Sly. Sly just got
Um,
this info and he has to pour
he's-
himself a drink.
Congratulations,
Doesn't
you're
know
moving on. Oh no.
Or it's Cade after Sly leaves and he goes.
Thanks, fucking guy.
I've been having
but
bad dreams about that for 3 days.
he could, of course. I'm just assuming that he would remain in y'all's employ if that's, I hope nothing bad happens to y'all that he needs to be employed by the eyes again.
Deimos will later tell.
Let's save it. Let's save it till after he leaves if you're gonna tell him later,
Okay,
so I don't
yeah.
forget. Do y'all have anything else for me, Mantis? And when he says Mantis, he'll like incline his head towards Cade just a little bit.
Ah! I don't think I have anything else for Sly. Like you gave him all the juicy shit.
Is that enough?
No.
I mean,
form one.
Kate still has 3 weeks of being Sly's hand boy.
I mean, he does, but and I like to, especially Drake's being very insightful. Most of you that are insightful enough, he doesn't look angry with Cade.
Just he's gonna miss Kate. That was the
Yeah, no, it's
disappointment.
cute.
Like he's gonna miss him.
The other Cade was very useful to him.
Right.
Yeah, and Sly will take his leave. It sounds like you didn't have anything else for him.
I didn't.
Sly takes his leave. And actually, you guys watch as he leaves this time. He will shake Kate's hand as he goes out the door. I like to think he goes to shake his hand, shakes his hand, like filches a cigarette out of his coat pocket as he's doing so, and walks out with popping the cigarette in his mouth.
Picks up his little calling stone. I need a new boy.
A new servant.
It's times like these I wish that my voice was audible because I want to look up like I'm looking for the security cameras in the room, being like, that Sly guy turned out to be all right after all, didn't he? And under my breath, sort of whisper to Cade, I'm so glad you're with us now.
And of course, when he goes out of the room, Cade will kind of visibly relax. They go, I hope y'all didn't mind that. If I, of course, don't have to work for any of yins, but Mr. Sly's been very good to me, but it's stressful, and y'all make lots of coin very quick.
Speaking of, I would love to keep you on retainer. Whatever your salary was, I'd love to match that.
I'll have it.
Deimos.
Oh
About
wait.
to say that
Deimos braces himself for some ridiculous 4-digit figure that we're not going to be able to pay over 9 months.
I was about to say he'd be like, that might be pretty difficult, friend. So Mr. Sly paid me very well, but
How much? I'm just curious.
I mean,
But
I
you'll
have to
never go
scale
down in the
everything.
record books as Sly's servant. Come with
yeah,
us.
that's. And to be honest with y'all, it's more about how y'all treated me since then. I feel like an employee with Mr. Sly. With y'all, I feel like an ally. That's worth more than what I was getting paid anyway. Besides, why would I want to take a 9-month sabbatical? It sounds like yins are off on the journey of a lifetime. And, change it, man.
We'll
don't
do a
make
little bit of
journeys-
fishing on the way, I'm sure, too,
We don't make journeys with allies. We make journeys with friends.
Oh,
It's all about the family we had this whole time. What is the line?
the family you made along the way.
Family we passed
right.
along the way.
Yeah. No, I reckon I'm a lot safer here than I am with Mr. Sly. Don't get me wrong; he gave me every security that he could, but y'all are fucking scary, if I'm being honest. No, what can I do for y'all, Mantis?
Whatever
How
happened
much
to
did he
that
pay you? I
dream?
gotta know.
I mean, it's still not. It's not gonna be a huge sum to you guys. Again, but adventurers are very likely the richest group of workers in any D&D campaign. So, if he was getting enough to be like a noble, it would be like 5 to 10 gold a week, and that would still make him supremely rich from the perspective of most of the population.
Oh yeah, we'll have that for sure.
But They was some folks that came by. Big old tall muscular feller and a very scary smaller woman. Silver hair,
That's the
armor.
Oh yeah, Henry Cable. I know him pretty well.
Witcher joke. Nice.
They said that they was allowed to come look around. Zone of Truth didn't seem to say otherwise.
Did you check them? Speaking of, I check him. Check his neck. I mean,
He'll roll his eyes. He'll do the same thing Slime did. He'll take out a little silver knife, do a little cut.
I still like to look just to be safe.
He shakes his head.
Because if
He'll
you were
say,
chipped, you would still bleed. If the change that proves you're not a changeling. But
But the individuals y'all have found shipped that are not changelings, you can see the scars on them. You can see the surgery and stuff.
that's what I'm saying. I'm checking for a scar in
Oh,
case he's not a changeling, and the bleeding is to make sure he's not a changeling.
I got you, but you don't see any scars. To go ahead and get that out of the way, so you're not sus. Hey, stop. Sorry, she's watching Avatar. She keeps going, oh my god. Not impressed.
Live action?
Yeah, not impressed still. We've seen like 5 or 6 episodes now. It's like this close to being garbage. Anyway. You guys...
Sponsored by Avatar.
This close to being garbage. Tell me I'm wrong.
Haven't seen it yet.
It's not worth it.
Send me your Netflix passwords.
I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole in the middle of session.
We can do it in break, yeah.
Episode 1 of our podcast.
God, yeah. Oh, why'd you say that? Stop. Y'all derailed my brain. Thanks. Click. Okay. God damn it.
I tell
They
them,
said,
yeah, I know them. They're friends of mine. I'm pretty sure if you're describing the right folk, they were allowed to be here.
Yeah,
How'd it go?
Yin said that some people from Tarkington will be stopping by. I let them take a look around. They took a look around. They said that they are a little worried about the location itself. They said that they don't feel like it's big enough to house the whole house. A little bit of terrifying thought. Whole house of criminals that smuggle monsters into Shar coming to hang out at our homestead is not he says, but they said that if and you wish, they could send some lieutenants and maybe some soldiers to, or maybe some house members to fortify a place if and you wanted.
I'd take a second to fill him in on the facts of the situation, since he's now one of us, and explain to him, the reason you're cutting yourself, right? It wasn't them smuggling monsters into Sharn. Some people made it look like them trying to go retrieve their equipment. All these shit folk we've been dealing with, they're the ones turning into monsters, and some other ones came to pick them up when we accidentally unveiled one of them in the middle of town. Sorry about that, by the way.
Oh yeah, don't believe everything you read in the paper from fuckface muckracker.
So, and he has some pieces of this puzzle, but when you give him the rest of it, when you paint the picture for him, he sits down, opens the bottle of liquor that Sly had brought in, and like reaches for one of the glasses. Doesn't even bother getting the ice, just pours himself like 4 whole fingers of whatever the liquor is, and kills the whole glass. He goes, is it too late to go back for the ice? Nah, I'm just kidding.
What,
You've already put in your resignation. You can't think of that.
what time of day is it? Is it like mid-afternoon? That's a stupid question, or a weird one.
I mean, I would imagine somewhere between 10 and 12.
Like in the morning?
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
as soon as y'all got up, he'd have been like, all right, can I call Sly? And y'all said yes. He would have called Sly.
Whatever. I'd look at him and be like, it's weighing on me too a little bit, brother. It's never too early to start, right? And I'll pour me one and sit down with him on the couch.
Well, that's not terrifying at all. I appreciate y'all letting me know the situation. I am going to take some extra steps to fortify the headquarters. I have been checking people as you asked. I did check. You say there's Marcus and Thora. I did check them as well. Deans have. I don't know what.
Steak
What about
sauce
steak
with Vera, right? Like we left him with her. Is that right?
No, he's with y'all. That's my understanding. I don't think you left him with Vera.
Maybe we just talked about leaving him for the trip. Okay.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, y'all did discuss that because Vera and Bree have been arguing who's going on that trip. But he'll. I don't know what the word would be. It's not Castalian. You don't live in a castle. Who mans the defenses of a house instead of a castle? Anyway.
Chief of security.
Yeah,
That
I
would
like
be
that.
Lucius Fox, pretty sure.
Was that a Batman reference?
It was
love
definitely
that.
a Batman
And Devin
reference.
did.
Is it a Batman reference?
Yes.
Does he have
Yeah.
someone that like watches the Batcave?
No, he's the guy who gives him like the Batmobile and makes the weapons and shit. For
Oh.
Unless
you watch
he was
Okay.
meaning
Dark Knight,
Alfred.
Dark Knight Begins, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, I've seen those.
That Morgan Freeman movies.
Okay. Okay. Those are
R&D
actually pretty good
department.
movies.
He's the one, if you remember, like they have all the big TV screens, and he gives a whole speech about like, I can't believe I created this abomination, and then they destroy it together because they were essentially like in a security state.
Been a long time since I've seen those. Maybe that will be our podcast episodes after live action outlet. Anyway, he'll say, is there anything that y'all want me to do specifically? Fortify any instructions you have to give as chief of security? It's okay if not. Just figured I would ask. It's in character.
Should we purple taint the doors or anything?
That is exactly why I asked about whether or not we had a vault, by the way, because I thought in the 3 weeks we have downtime, we could put the basketballs inside of a chest or a vault or something and arcane lock it so that if somebody did come looking for it, they wouldn't be able to get in to get them.
Well, Arcane Lock isn't uncrackable, but it does make it harder to crack.
In
Based on
my
the
professional
sorcery abilities that they have, the glyphs.
I was
and all
about to
that.
say, in my professional opinion, the safest place for those kind of objects to reside are with you all, especially if you're going to be on the move a bunch. Even if they came here and burned down the house and killed all of us, they couldn't get a hold of it.
So, Arcane Lock I can cast and it lasts until it's dispelled. I'm going to make the passcode
Yeah.
Purple Taint. And it's a 2nd level spell slot, which if I count my 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I'm going to spend one of my days of downtime. All of the doors that lead to the outside, casting Arcane Lock on them. Code word Purple Taint.
It's not concentration, it just lasts.
It just lasts, yeah. Because it's meant to be sort of
Is it
used
purple
as-
taint or Sly's a bitch?
He might have to come over, so don't.
Yeah. You can't get to my ear, can you? Sucks to be you.
How they got you.
She likes to lick ears. Yeah, she likes to lick my ears. She's mad now that my ear's covered.
Why do all
Okay.
cats have like a weird tick?
So, say again? Why do they lick their ears?
That's weird.
Yeah,
Well,
I, don't-
all-
I think it's a
weird
grooming
tick.
thing. They want to.
But like
Go
my
discuss
cats
it.
don't. My cats don't do that. But like they all have a weird thing. Like Boots loves to play hide and seek, but I've never had a cat who'll do that.
Well, I've seen a few that like feet. They'll really rub on shoes or your feet if you're barefoot or whatever.
Ninja, if you smoke a cigarette, she'll lick the nicotine on your fingers that you were smoking with.
Your cat is
My-
addicted to nicotine.
Like, oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Each cat has like their own weird tick. Like I've never had a cat that licked ears, but I had a cat that does that.
I've got a super friendly
Funny.
cat who lays on your chest and wakes you up in the middle of the night. Sometimes lays on my wife's face.
A lot of ours, a couple of ours will do that. Those are
Sit
pretty
on your
sweet.
face and not even think twice.
My boy cat, I'm afraid that he's going to disappear one day and never come back because he like got outside on the porch one time, the kittens that we got, and now all of a sudden, like sometimes he'll just go to the front door and wail like as loud as he can because he wants to go outside so bad, and like he'll just run out in the yard and start rolling around and doing stuff, and I'm like, he's just gonna get out there one day and we're not gonna see him again.
Or you're not gonna see him for a week. He's gonna come
3
back.
months later, come
Yeah.
back, lost 10 pounds.
The size of a lynx. Like,
Or he's gonna be fucking fat because all the neighbors have been feeding him and shit.
accurate.
Anyway, if so, Cade would see you doing that, and he would offer to have that permanently installed, for lack of a better term.
Have what permanently installed?
Your
The arcane lock.
Your arcane locks. He would tell you, Mr. Demos, it would not be too much trouble. I could price and arrange for work to be done to have all the doors enchanted with this enchantment. Permanently, you could change the spell be on the doors. You could change the passcode as you pleased.
Okay, I guess that is worth something. Yeah, no, that would be you have access to. We'll leave. We're gonna have a vault in the house where we leave a sum of money. We'll say 2,000 gold. And we'll tell him we can access that as he needs for stuff like that. House projects.
Just for the next couple weeks.
I was about to say, you guys can kind of see. He kind of smiles. He says, "Got you all. I'll make sure this place is a proper spy headquarters."
Fantastic. We might also
But
want to talk to your old boss.
Don't let
about
it look like a spy headquarters, because
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna deal with that.
Sets up illusions of just kids partying
about to
around
say,
your house like 24/7.
It's a 5-acre farm. Not a
Guys, as you guys were moving about over the next couple of weeks, you guys probably would see him essentially scrubbing a lot of those enchantments. Either doing it himself if he could, or hiring people to scrub the enchantments away. And over the course, he wouldn't be finished by any means, but over the weeks, you guys would probably see bits and pieces of him essentially scrubbing away all of those enchantments and laying his own or y'all's own or hiring people. He's doing everything Sly taught him, everything he had seen in the Undare headquarters and stuff, and is having all that redone under y'all's spell work, or at least not under their spell work.
Oh, it takes 100 days. How long is 9 months? 9 months is longer than 100 days.
What's 30
Deimos would
times
like
9? 27 times 9. 30 is
27.
easier.
Yeah, 270.
Okay.
Because 9 months is most of the year. So Deimos would like to hire somebody from the college to put a permanent teleportation circle in our. How much would that? Like one that we have a sigil to where we could go to it if we wanted to.
Would be pretty expensive.
Oh,
It looks like the only place you might have, because I think they're supposed to be big, the only place you can do it is the roof. You know what? I would allow it now.
helicopter landing.
We're in the
pad.
very middle. Is this is all this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if these
it's
are
like-
10-foot squares. That's 20-foot wide. That's pretty good.
This seems to be like it's like a dining hall. Interesting. I would allow it to be put here. Okay.
How much would that cost? 100 days.
Probably a
Teleportation
lot.
circle. I think it's a 5th level spell.
Yeah, because you'd have to cast it 100 days. But it's only 25 gold a day. And, well, yeah, 25 gold a day to enchant something. So really what I think this amounts to is that by the time you guys got out to the by the time you got out to the end of the expedition, it would probably be done. If I had to guess. If not, extra.
Devin,
can
please
help.
tell me you've seen this movie. Please.
I have to find Discord thing. Is this Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh God, he has. Have
I
you?
haven't seen it. I'm just
Oh,
aware.
Devin,
What?
disappoint.
You
That's a
get
fucking
props though.
slap.
He knew what it was. Though.
Yeah,
Like,
I could tell.
I'll give him half points.
I think the only Robin Williams movie I've seen is Dead Poets Society.
That's a great one too, Steve. But I do hate you a little bit. Robin Williams is like my guy.
You've seen Aladdin.
Yeah.
You seen
Admitted
Flubber?
one? Yeah.
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 You ever seen
I don't know.
Patch Adams? That's a great one.
Yeah,
What Dreams May Come?
Mm.
Father of the Year?
Goodwill Hunting.
Mm-mm.
Dude,
The
man.
Birdcage.
Robots?
No,
Bicentennial
I'm
Man.
pretty sure it's the only one I've seen. I've seen some of his comedy skits too, but anyway, comedy sucks. The world, misery is life. Life is misery. All of the above. All right, so here we go. God dang it.
I gotta watch Mrs. Doubtfire now. God damn it.
He's a.
That's the hair. Gave it away. Oh, I didn't see him do the thing with the cord. I'm gonna try that next time I'm vacuuming. Anyway. All right, y'all. So this is the part where we montage. See how quickly we can montage. Hello. Stop. All right. So see how quickly we can montage. That's what Kay does during the montage. Essentially, spoiler alert. I picture him growing into like a role of like y'all spy master. He goes about setting up the headquarters the way a spy headquarters should be set up. That's what he does during the montage. You guys do several things during the montage. Demo spends a pretty good chunk of the time enchanting. I don't know if you had any scripters for that, or any narrations for that.
So much. We hired some students from the school to help us. And yes, we did hire them. Devin offered them for free, but we wanted to pay them because we believe that labor is worth something. And ended up getting. I think everybody has at least one enchanted item from Demos now, which is pretty cool.
And
Except
kind
for
of-
me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you haven't done your own stuff one. You gotta do one.
I'd rather give y'all the magic share 'cause that's just fun.
I need 5 weapons. Demos is something, Randy something, Echo something, and y'all can change the names, but those are the default for the legendary items, and those will go if we can finish them all. We'll go in SSA.
Yeah.
Anyway, kind of what I like to imagine for this. What I thought, like when you're enchanting, you guys obviously have to cast the spell. So like your you're verbally chanting the somatic components for the spell. And I like to think of it like there's this big, thick, hollow metal wand essentially that has holes in it. Because one of the enchanting things is gem dust, right? And so it's almost like a censer. You're sitting there like shaking it back and forth, and the dust is siphoning out of the holes in the side. So there's a lot of chanting, or maybe even moving around the item while you're shaking this wand over the item to enchant it. It's like the dust settles down onto the item and coalesces around it. And Demos you spent like almost 2 weeks doing this for all the items, right? Like, think of the time.
Yeah, I think it's the better part of 3 weeks.
Before you get too far, too, I think you bumped whatever your camera's living on because it's like a little cattywampus. I saw it move over.
You're absolutely right.
Like, awkwardly
You're absolutely right.
Wanted to
You're
save
off
you a little
center.
time there.
I looked at it when you said that, and you're right.
Or doggy wampus.
Holly did
Doggy
it probably.
wampus.
Doggy wampus. Anyway, so Demo spends most of his time doing that. He does, out of the goodness of his heart, pay those students. A fun thing I said last week, a third of them drop out because he paid them 25 gold a day. So many of them are more rich than some nobles. So, but
They need it for their student loans. It's fine.
God, you're over here like, oh man, everybody go to college so you can pay for stuff, and instead you essentially gave them like that. I got daddy's money now, and they go buy a house, and other people can't afford it in this
because I
economy.
went to college.
Yeah, I had a small headcanon earlier of like Demos' enchanting services, like Demos' enchanting business. It's just a bunch of
bunch of students who dropped out. Fucking live at our house now. I'll have some hours left over. I do want to use the scry ball.
Okay.
I know we want to look for Jericho. We want to look for Japoth. Is there anybody else you guys want to peek in on? Any other baddies that we got to look in?
I mean, you did make a point. We have the Unknowable Ones book, so we could always try to see what we could figure out about that dude.
That's fair. Let's start with Japoth. And I think we have some stuff that's in his handwriting from the notes that we found at not this last hideout, but the hideout before.
You've also had a fight with him, which for me, like,
Failure.
yeah, I feel like if you fight with someone, you're familiar with them. Like, it's a very intimate thing to have a fight with somebody. Well, even if that's a weird word to use.
But it makes it sound very sexy. I like it. All right, here we go. Crystal ball of mind reading. Oh, I forgot we can mind read while we're doing it.
What's to say? While you're doing it, or to just cast it?
No, like you can use mind reading through it.
Interesting.
Let me look at that. Use an action to you can use an action to cast the detect thought spell while you are scrying within the crystal ball, targeting creatures you can see within 30 feet of the spell's sensor. You don't need to concentrate on this detect thoughts to maintain it.
Interesting.
And
it has its own spell save DC. Cool.
so, because we are familiar with him,
It doesn't say.
-5 to his save. If we have a possession, that's a -4, so a total of -9.
They stack like that?
I was curious
Yeah,
about that.
because it's
Too.
1 for knowledge and 1 for connect. Which is modified by how well you know the target and the sort of physical connection you have to it. And I can do this several times. So this one isn't like the crystal ball I gave Davos. This one is scrying at will, which is fucked.
Yeah, it's its own item. Yeah, it's I think a higher tier version of the
Yeah,
item.
the other one is rare. This one is.
So you
wondrous.
can't see anything around him. You can just see him.
I think rules is written, yes, but I will look.
Okay.
You can
That's what
see
I
in here a
thought. I
particular
wanted to make
creature you
sure.
choose.
Where's I seen the DC. I just need to know, is it a wisdom save? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. That was the part I couldn't find earlier. Bloop. I
can see within 10 feet of it.
need to do something. Within 10 feet of the little sensor it makes.
Yes, sir.
1 second.
God
Gonna
just
get
pops
to-
up and he's like in the backyard.
Taking a shit
Watching y'all from a fucking tree.
behind Randy.
Okay, so he gets -9 total. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Damn. All right. So
If you will count the notes as a minus, as a possession.
Or, well, I was thinking about the bullets that Randy took from him.
I mean,
Oh,
that's
even better.
definitely a possession, so we can use that if we want.
But regardless, y'all would get that negative modifier. So he rolled really well, but y'all have a couple of things, which is interesting. Okay.
9 to be 17.
Can you see his surroundings is the real question.
10 feet. Right at. You can see and hear as though you were. You can see and hear through the sensor as if you were there, within 10 feet of the target. The sensor moves with the target, remaining within 10 feet of it. Creature that can see invisible objects sees the sensor. So it says I can see as if I was there.
That's what I was thinking. Was it Yeah, okay. So that would mean so when you pick up on him, he seems to be on a ship. It looks a lot like the space galleon that you guys rated. Not exactly the same, obviously, but it does look like you guys would imagine a sea galleon, or an airship, or a space galleon is what they are in Spelljammer, the ones that fly through space. Y'all rated one very early on in the game. So he does seem to be on what would be the most common form of Spelljammer, or airship, or whatever it is. It's kind of hard to tell. He's probably below deck, in what might have been the captain's quarters. It's kind of difficult to tell. I would say that you probably see. Think about this. Interesting. So I had to think about this. Yeah. Captain's quarters in a study, and you get to watch him for 10 minutes, or yes.
Yes, sir.
And in that 10 minutes, there would be a little bit of stuff happening. He does spend a good bit of time. He seems to be poring over a war table, for lack of a better term. But he is occasionally bothered. You know, you can see him like turning his head to look at to someone we assume coming into the room, and he would respond to. I was about to say he would respond. He would a lot. Some of it would be him giving very menial orders. You know, go do this, go do that. Occasionally, he does seem to be responding to questions. You would probably hear him telling them what to do with what you assume to be prisoners. Probably something along the lines of throw them overboard. You would probably hear him responding to. You'd probably hear him giving responses to put this here, put that there. And let me think the most important part, you know, the things that all that's very menial. You would probably eventually he would turn and address someone that entered the room instead of just looking over his shoulder and giving commands. He would eventually turn to address someone that come in the room. You would hear him tell them that they need to be ready to embark soon. That if they're not ready in 2 days, you know, insert threat here. Maybe you might even see him take out his revolver and thoroughly threaten someone.
I would also like to cast Detect Thoughts on him. DC of 17. I think that's.
But
awesome.
no, it's not at the. Doesn't have the things. Is that Wisdom save? It's not going to get the -9. That's what I was trying to.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Surface level thoughts, right?
I think it starts as that. Let me pull it up. Detect Thoughts. You
Surface
initially
thoughts.
learn the surface thoughts of certain creatures. When you cast a spell and use it as your action, you can focus your mind on a creature. Blah, blah, blah. As an action, you can either shift your attention to another creature or probe deeper into the same creature's mind. If it probes deeper, then they must make the. Yeah, so he doesn't know if I'm casting it on the surface. It's only when I pry deeper that he finds out.
So I need to do one more thing. Okay. That's a 17, you said? DC save?
Yes.
So, Demos, I think the first thing you would notice on, I don't know if this is a native spell to Demos, for lack of a better term.
It is a divination spell, so it would be part of my
Okay.
school study.
So, Demos, you can tell pretty quickly, it is difficult. Because he is psionically trained, this is almost antithetical to the kind of training that he has. His brain, for lack of a better term, is ripped. So at first it is
Amos shudders. Like
it's kind of like instead of just getting right into his head, it's almost like you have to push through a wall of water. Lots of resistance, but you do manage to kind of get deep enough in past his mental wards, Aragon style, to get his surface thoughts. And at the time you get a hold of them, he's kind of cussing to himself that if this fucking captain doesn't get his shit together and quit knocking his knees, he's going to shoot him. And let me think about this. While he's threatening him, you can tell that he's a little frustrated they're having to work this way. I guess you probably would get the information, because I just don't think he could hide it even from a surface level, that he is apparently threatening a House Lyander captain or a House Lyander member.
interesting. Lyander's a transportation, correct?
Mhm.
And do they do space galleons? Is that something I would know? Do they do interstellar travel, quote unquote?
So you would know just from living on Eberron that they own the airship industry. Orion owns the railroad industry. I'm gonna
But airship,
use
not like
terms.
Spelljammer.
House Cannith is about to sell Lyander one of the first Autonome crews for Spelljammers. So we're in a weird point in history where they are beginning their branch out into Spelljammers and things like that.
So I have like 10 hours. I don't want to do this, what would that be, 60 times? But I would like to try to pop in a couple of different times a month just to see if they arrive at a destination, if anything of note happens. I don't know how you want to do that as far as not having to do 60 of them.
I have some ideas.
Ideas.
We'll think about that.
You can jump to
Sorry.
video for a while if you want.
I was about to say, what I'll probably do is I'll give you the cliff notes of everything you could get, like assuming that sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does, and I'll kind of give you the cliff notes of what you could determine. You also too have to decide, is that you're going to spend the whole time on Hoth? Are you going to move it to anybody else?
I would
Because
say
that will determine like how much you get from each source.
of the number of times I could do it, I would say I want to check in on Japoth at least 3 times. 3 successful attempts.
Mhm.
And then I would like to check Japoth. We would like to check on the unknowable one using a spell book.
Jericho,
I don't
not
think we
Japoth.
have anything of Japoth, but considering that we're in the month, maybe we could meet up with Thora since she was here.
I mean
see if she has
Jericho.
anything.
Okay. That's the weird part for me. I'll have to decide something about Jericho.
Yeah,
Um,
not exactly the same thing, but it was. We did
It
meet
was,
him.
but it was Jericho. But is it
Yeah.
still
Right.
Jericho?
Does he still exist?
Is if you replace the mast, is it still the ship of Theseus? If you replace everything, is it still the ship of Theseus?
Okay. So Echo also went off for a little while. I won't even say where he went. If y'all have been paying attention, you know where he went. Echo, I will say for continuity, you now have those notes that I sent you. Echo does return eventually. I don't think any of you did. Oh, Drix and Randy spend a little bit of time spitting on their staffs, their sticks.
That what the
Just-
kids call it.
Spitting on some sticks, I guess.
Each
They do
others or just their own, or we need details,
Sorry, I charge by the hour for erotica. So they do.
I think I only need 5 minutes.
An hour, that'll get me for 20 days. That's
I
great.
meant to say. Usually, I would say by the line for erotica, 50 cents a line. But you guys, they do spend some time making dazzle, which I think is very cool. It's a Thrycreen thing. It's essentially
describe
like a sort of venom that they make, that they can make naturally. Ben, since y'all think about it, I think a couple of y'all read it. It's very cool. So Drix upgrades his Githka. They spend some time making some ammunition. One of the things Demos enchants is armor for Nova, made from the Bone Naga, which is like cash. He got to do that for on the cheap because of the Bone Naga's magical properties, or at least the Bone Naga's corpse, whatever you want to call it. And so we may kind of get into this break, but what I wanted to describe was that what I imagine takes place over the weeks, it's like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia style board with all the strings and stuff on it, and it's not that like one person spends the whole 3 weeks doing this. During this 3 weeks, you all kind of come and go into like a particular room where you have the star spawn notes, the notebook, and things like that all set up in this one room. And just over the course of the weeks, the corkboard grows. More pins get put in the board. More papers get scattered about, and you all as a group, kind of collectively over the weeks, work on deciphering the notes, figuring out what's going on. And that's kind of how I imagine, especially in the montage. 3 of you could be in there at one time. 1 of you could be in there hunched over the desk. At one point in the montage, like at least 1 of you sitting in the corner, like pounding straight from a bottle of liquor, as you're all collectively beating your heads together to figure out what the fuck is going on. And we will talk about what you learn, what the fuck is going on. I will see you on 2.
Alrighty.
Welcome back, Spelljammer 998, where we mix our podcast content and our D&D content. Please
Can we
say
talk about the
prayers
unknowable one? I've been dying to talk about the unknowable one.
We
Please.
don't know about them.
Pray
First
to
off-
whatever entity you pray to that we can stay on the goddamn rails.
What does he look like? Second off, what's his name?
Unknown.
Interesting that you say that. Okay.
Not known.
I need to not know. File not found. Open your hard
404.
drive and find your mercy file. File not
Well,
found.
no, no.
I'm not
Fucking
the only
Futurama.
one.
Futurama has not been fucking dialogue.
Dude, I could produce episode after episode of podcast content on Futurama. Anyway, that and Wally. Anyway,
We're partial to snoo, but
there's there. All right. Anyway.
Snizmar myself.
Children of Lesser Bog, great episode. If anyone that watches hasn't watched the new season of Futurama, Children of Lesser Bog is a great episode. Anyway,
I actually come back 20 years later.
yeah, it's a great episode, in my opinion. And not every. I'm not gonna get distracted. Okay. All right. So, over the course of the 3 weeks, if you remember, before we took a break, I described a kind of Sunny in Philadelphia style room with the tag board and the pinup board, and a montage of you guys collectively banging your heads together to figure out what the fuck's going on. Demos doesn't get to partake in a good bit of that because he's enchanting things, but he's in there at the end where he's in there. I like to think a lot of it's like, God damn it, where's Demos? And then Demos comes in kind of a couple of end of the weeks and goes, oh, well, this means this sigil means this is that, and et cetera, and he helps you guys piece the last bit of it together. You guys learn several. What's going to be the most fun order to... Okay. You guys learned that the Unknowable One apparently did not have any innate knowledge of whatever was scribed in the Star Spawns. So a good bit of what you guys do is kind of interpreting his notes. Probably one of the first big revelations you guys find is that the prototype Void Spear was apparently created by condensing a civilized planet into a singularity. Which I'll let that sink in for a second. So y'all think about what that means.
So the big void.
The small.
That sounds like the Corvax from No Man's Sky.
Oh, so you mean to tell me there was a civilized planet that got sucked into a tiny little orb? There's a bunch of dead everything that lived there.
Converted into that tiny little orb.
Okay,
And
well,
it
I don't
can-
like touching that anymore.
I know it can eat them.
And I was about to I was about to say, and you guys gather this was indeed a prototype. This was the first one created by the Starspawn Seer. So you guys gather that the Starspawn Seer was sent beyond the veil. You guys know by now there is stuff beyond the veil. There is tons of evidence in his notes. He seems very aware that there is shit beyond the veil. And the notes would lead you guys to believe that whatever entity it is that he seems to worship has sent the Starspawn Seer as their emissaries. Starspawn emissaries. As his emissaries. Its emissaries? They, them, their emissaries? And this was its first attempt at creating a Void Spear. And then there would be, of course, kind of what the Noble One believes to be the formula to do that, to create that Void Spear, that prototype. Then you guys would find out that the big Void Spear was created by condensing an entire wild space system into a singularity. So the Void Spear you guys currently hold was created by transmuting a wild space spear into what it currently is, which is why it has so much power in it. What was to make a brain broke. Anyway, I don't think I was gonna say and lost it.
And we've deduced that the Noble One maybe did not create these, but
The Starspawn emissaries, the Starspawn Seer specifically created the objects.
Okay.
Banana for scale here. A wild space system is a galaxy?
A universe.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. That's the thing I was going to say. In previous Spelljammer editions and in my games, everything you guys have flown around in that's surrounded by the storm is a wild space system. In traditional Spelljammer, the galaxies, the systems, float in these crystal spheres, and those crystal spheres float in the astral. And so back in 2E or whatever, this was kind of how everything worked. You could fly in between these spheres to get to other systems. They don't talk about that in this book, in the 5E book. But that's kind of the idea, is that So for y'all, it would be Eberron, all the planets around it, all of the wild space ecosystem there, everything inside of the storm. Boop.
So are we treating it like, let's translate it to our world, our solar system, Mercury through Pluto, versus like the whole galaxy, it's more like our solar system.
Yes.
Is it? Or
Yes. Yeah. You've already get to, that's a good way to put it in real world terms, your solar system.
the big void spear is the solar system.
Mm-hmm. The small
All
ones seem to have been made from a planet.
Single
Planet. Okay. All right.
Interesting.
And so
little
then that's
less
something
small.
that I had mentioned when y'all found the item. Some bad shit had happened to make it the way that it is. And for some of you, this will make sense. For some of you, not. It is like the Philosopher's Stone in FMA. It's almost like the echoes of screams if you were to really identify and dig into the item. And kind of my headcanon was that Demos or whoever is really... Because, Demos identified the items. If you were to learn any spells from the item, cast any spells from the item, you would eventually get that echo of the screams of all this life that was extinguished to create these things.
So it's like you're burning the life energy from those to cast the spell. So like it still lives in that.
And not just the life energy, but the matter they're made out of.
So would we
That's
infer
the
from
best
this that
representation of mana I've ever heard.
are we inferring that they're broken down in there? Like there's no restoration for this. They're broken down like molecularly into energy?
Demos, when you try to expel matter from one of the void spheres, like you mentioned earlier, if you don't give it, if you don't give it a specific shape, if you don't try to morph it into a square or a column or whatever, it does just come out as this kind of blob of metal. It's almost like, I like to imagine pancake batter. It's almost like mercury-colored pancake batter just kind of drips out of the thing. But you find if you pretty quickly, your brain gives form to something, you can make squares and circles and orbs and things of that nature. But it is It does come out as this just kind of metal.
I think of a katana and pull it out.
You could make something. It's not
I immediately
sharp.
snatch it.
It's all metal. It's not sharp. It's not ornate, but it's like a blank sort of. Yeah. It's almost like something you would put in a
A mole.
Yes, it's like a blank you would put in a mold.
Randy's like, if there's anything I learned in this campaign, it's that life is precious and we gotta preserve it and then snuff it out when it's important. But as soon as he pulls a katana out, he's like, oh wait, gimme. That's mine.
Thinks like a handful of like arrowheads and pulls out like 10 or 20 of them. Holds them out to Echo.
I would say you could do that.
I'm just kind of nervous because, like,
Do it.
based on the Kardashev scale, like the small void sphere is like a type 1 on the Kardashev scale, and then the next one harvests the solar system energy. The star's energy is type 2. There is a type 3 where you can harvest the energy of the entire galaxy. So, like, maybe this is not its final form, basically.
Oh, fair.
And also my
That's a
graver concern
very-
is that there's somebody out there who can just make this. Our system's not safe.
You said the Starseer. Isn't that a Bowlbeard?
Yeah,
Now,
we
it is
killed him, but
Balbeard.
there are other ones probably that can do this.
Also,
Like,
that's a
in-
very well-read reference, Brandon. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that was
Thank
actually
you.
I would call it a deep cut, and it was.
It's deep cut.
It was a deep cut when I told you you weren't the coolest person I know anymore.
God, that was a deep, that was a soul cut. That was not a physical wound. It was an
Katana.
emotional one.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
God,
Yeah.
so hold on. This would raise, if we're talking about this real time, that would raise a moral dilemma a little bit because I would question
Start
like,
using it.
is this not even about the sword? Is the storm protecting our solar system from whatever made this? Or like breaking the storm? Are we going to go explore wild space, or is wild
The
space going to
prophecy
come?
did say
explore
breaking the
us?
storm lets something more terrible in, I think, or like leads it to ruin. I forget the exact dialogue.
God,
And then from a moral dilemma, if we had to use the energy from these spheres, would it be better to sacrifice the life of this planet, which has already been done, to stop
The
bad guy?
No, yeah,
Right.
Fair.
of a whole system?
well, based on your experimentation, I don't think there's any salvation for what's happened to these systems. So at that point, I guess use it for good where
Right.
you can. Is where I would stand.
Right. Same.
Deimos would probably experiment with it just a little bit. When I think of something, it's just the shape of that in metal. I can't like conjure an apple, for example. Correct?
Yes, sir. So, in one of the stipulations of the items, it has to be non-living matter. So, similarly, it can only really build non-living matter. It is not too bad of a leap of logic for you to realize that this probably was where the material was coming from for the Void Forge. Out of the big one, it was taking it from the spear and manifesting it into the tanks. Oh, glad you enjoyed that.
I'm kind of just letting
Oh,
it
boy.
sink in at this point.
Is there?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you. I'm curious if Drix or Drix, I was called you Jordana, Drix or Zephyr have any thoughts about that. This is a group revelation.
Black holes and rivers.
Wait,
It's
about
a
what
Muse
exactly?
song.
The void spears are made from planets and people, and they're pretty much philosopher's stones from FMA. Sort of. I
Drix
guess not pretty
on-
much.
Drex ponders the mechanics of being able to swallow an entire world.
Dirk's looking for ideas.
Drix looks at the spear, licks his lips.
So I see you've gone two different directions in our character development. How can I eat faster versus should I like do the good thing? I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So, probably the last really big point you guys would get for this. Oh, excuse me. Let me go back in the right order. That's a cool song title. Don't know how you use this, but that's okay.
You don't?
Y'all should just get used to it. I'm amazed every time. What?
Hey, wait a second. What's the recording timestamp? I got to put that in the Clueless DM montage.
Fuck. How do you look at that live? It's 2:05:35. So it's gonna be like 2:04.
That's the only thing that's going to be in my session notes. 2:05:35.
Yeah. All right. So go back like a minute and a half for something Devin didn't know about.
But think about it. This session alone, we have Leroy Jenkins, we have Mrs. Doubtfire, we have whatever.
Leroy Jenkins wasn't recorded.
Oh, was it not?
I feel like for some reason I feel like I can let all of this go, but like as a musician, and I feel like Echo would agree, not knowing who Muse is like it's almost like it stings a little bit.
Yeah, that's Cat's favorite band. That's a top tier.
Like,
Megan knows who Muse is.
They are very, very, very
Response
popular.
was a very famous band.
But I can somehow see why people wouldn't know them. You don't really hear them on the radio much, despite it being very poppy.
Right now, my work is they do like March Madness style brackets for random things, and this month is 2000s songs. So it's been great to watch my company eat themselves alive over this.
I was going to say that based on that, I think it also might have been a time period thing. Like, a few of us grew up in a time period where like you could have caught Muse on specific radio stations because of the radio stations playing that type of music. There were a lot of good alt rock stations that existed for a short period of time. Those don't exist anymore.
No,
There's still a few, but you're right. They're few and far between.
Let's say K106 still exists. It's Chattanooga Rock Station.
Little fun trivia fact for you guys. The guy who put the tattoos on this arm, his stepsister, stepsister, is married to the lead singer of Muse.
That's pretty sick.
That's my claim to fame right there.
So you're by like the Kevin Bacon scale. You're only 1 degree away from, or 2 degrees away from the guy who knows Muse, or the guy who
Yeah,
sings Muse.
I've actually, I got a
I
picture.
think it's just only
with him.
4 degrees away. So we're all that close to Muse.
You guys are. By proxy.
Oh boy! All right, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows Muse, the lead singer for Muse. Anyway,
Who fucks the lead singer from Muse? That's more powerful.
that's true. You got a point.
there it
Anyway.
is.
They do have a kid together. They're married.
So confirmed fucked at least once.
Married. All right, locked it down.
My wife had lunch with them, not alone, as a group.
With,
Yeah.
with 50,000 other people in a
Yeah, like I'm a big Muse fan. My wife had never really listened to. Oh, that's Muse. Oh, okay. She has lunch with the guy as I'm at work. Like, of all people.
It's kind of
That's
funny.
pretty funny.
I'm not butthurt about it. Back on track.
Devin, I'm going to drop another one in here for you because it really is a solid group.
Well, I love all the space theme stuff. I'm a sucker. If y'all can't
Oh,
find.
bro. Like.
Anyway,
Just wait till you get to it.
the third biggest piece of information, maybe after when I put on smoke. The third biggest piece of information you guys get from stop doing this fucking getting off the rails. I feel like we're the train on one rail and the other rail, like the meme where
We're drifting on the 2 rails.
that's us this session.
Pretty sure Muse has a song about that.
Stop.
Train drifter, yeah.
Third
It's called
biggest
drifting
piece
on
of
2 rails, yeah.
information that you guys would get is that they are, there are plans being laid. The Apoth has been put in charge of obtaining, any and all evidence or examples of anything close to what the Void Forge are. You guys already know, y'all have enough information to connect the dots that the Auto Gnomes are probably the closest thing y'all can think of to the Void Forge, and so they are planning an assault on the ceremony to attempt to procure either the Auto Gnomes themselves, the creator of the Auto Gnome, anyone the Auto Gnome, and even potential collateral, whatever that may mean. The fourth and final biggest piece of information you guys gather from this 3-week-long investigative spree is... Was that 1, 2, 4 songs? 5 songs? The last piece that y'all gather is that with the help of the Star Spawn emissaries, the Unknowable One seems to have constructed... you guys were referenced the Tyrant. It is only called the Tyrant in these notes as well. But through the tyrant and the weapon attached to the tyrant, they seem to be planning to bring Void to Eberron. That's what I had said before. You guys can gather enough information from his notes that even without the Star Spawn emissaries, he would be capable of creating another.
Void Sphere
Another
is
what?
Void Sphere is what he said. I could read his lips. But anyway,
Yeah.
Okay.
so even without them, he has the technology. I don't like that.
We can rebuild them.
Do we have any idea if it seems like he's targeting just the planet or the galaxy?
His notes indicate he is planning on making another full one, not a prototype.
Full Void Sphere. Interesting.
It's definitely gonna be us.
And there are quite a few references to the story itself.
To the storm, as in the
Sybaris.
solar system? Okay.
Yeah, the storm of Sybaris that surrounds y'all's solar system.
Well,
So I'm
listen,
guessing, just for clarification, the Rock of Brawl is, the asteroid belt.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's technically closer than the asteroid, but yeah.
But within
Yeah.
the solar system. for
It is.
sure.
It is
All right.
within solar system. Yes, sir. It is within that wild space system. Yes. Because if you go outside of Eberron's wild space system, cyberspace, which I kind of hate, because it sounds like if you go outside of that, you would go into the astral city,
so I just
which
thought
I've
of
never
something
seen, don't know anything about, except
that
Zephyr.
might be important though. If he can make them, and he has plans to try to turn this system into a void sphere, he would have to have a way to then leave this system, with or without the storm, right?
He
wouldn't
exists
want to be
beyond.
here for it.
I think transportation. I think transportation for him is not a big. Because he's opened a veil for the Balbeard to come here and for other entities.
You think he can
I
just
would
come
like
and
to-
go outside
I would
of
like
that?
to clarify that something sent them across. He didn't bring them.
Mm.
Oh, not the unknowable one. I'm sorry. Oh well, yeah, no, I guess. We
But
don't
so
know.
if he's gonna make the thing, then would he like? I guess you wouldn't know this. Would he just like activate a
Yeah.
beacon and be like, "Pull me out," so we could turn this thing into another void sphere? Like, what's?
Beam me up, Scotty.
I didn't want
In
to.
their culture, it could be the highest honor to be collapsed into a fucking void sphere.
I would assume, based on what I've found out, that he would not be dying whenever he did this. However, that means if he gets transported out or can for some reason stay inside.
I am now like I would say I'm much more nervous to break up the storm, but if he can just come and go, what does it matter? Like it's not going to stop this
yeah.
from happening.
Might make it easier.
We could stop this from happening, bro.
We got to kill him,
Um,
exactly.
want to do a couple of things. I do want to scry on Jericho and
The unknowable one first, please.
Noble. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Using his spell book as a proxy. We don't know him, but we do have an item of his. So I think the net of that.
Make some rolls real quick.
We have heard of the target. He gets a +1 to this. It's a wisdom save. But I do have multiple checks.
Before you get too into that, Devin,
Mhm.
this illithid research, the unknowable one is the illithid, yeah? All
What?
He is.
I'm going to tell you all about it. Read all about it. What happened there?
Read all about it.
I was trying to look in the thing and see. I don't know.
Why are
Is
you?
that
Old man and my elbows are
COVID
dry.
rash?
Yeah, for sure. I get the pustules.
That's plus a certain amount. Sorry, I
Plus
couldn't get it
one.
to roll from the. I couldn't get it to roll from stat block. I wanted to roll from.
And he rolls in that one.
Come
I use a
on.
few on him.
Interesting.
I can see the reflection on your glasses. You're lying.
Natural 1.
Oh no!
Oh yes, when he's making the save.
That's what I thought. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. So Demos, this is even more difficult. If Yapoth was like trying to dive into the ocean, this guy's mental defenses, mental rippedness, however you want to think about it, is almost otherworldly. His grasp of psionic beyond anything Yapoth could ever hope to muster. So many of your attempts are met with failure. You do manage to break through occasionally. And you would get... Do I have picture? Does I have picture?
Oh,
Pitch?
please.
Picture?
Yeah.
Picture of the unknowable one? Fuck yeah.
All right, recording. Hold tight. We're gonna see if we can get an image up on the
I
tab.
has picture. So this is stock 5e art. So take it with a grain of salt. I might change the... See him? This is stock 5e.
Ooh.
There he is.
Space Cthulhu, I called it.
Oh god, look at the bones. What's up with the bones, bro?
It is dried out and desiccated. It's and this picture doesn't have it, but it does not have eyes. It has like these little pinpricks of light in empty eye sockets.
Terrifying.
And I would imagine for him, his surroundings, Demos would not have seen. It's like he's in a cave of some sort.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, you're breaking up kind of bad.
hold on.
It's been happening for a minute, but
I think I keep touching my cord of my...
how fucking dare you, you bitch?
Like when I touch it and fuck with it, it messes up. The surroundings would not be familiar to any of you, but it does look almost like stonework.
And we see him fucking Shadowheart.
I guess you don't see... You do see around him. You see the area. You just don't see other things. I would gather that you... Wherever he is, you would probably be able to see him enough to see gravity.
Nope.
Imply-
he's
See what?
pausing again.
To see
Oh,
that
man.
he distorts gravity?
I know.
I just like that there's a, picture of Saturn behind him for this campaign.
Maybe that's better.
Yeah.
Saturn.
I think that's a
It's-
spaceship. Oh no, you're right.
Well, the spaceship and the
Jupiter.
Saturn. It really sucks that they're two. That's just too much.
Right to be on.
Maybe a better camera would fix that. Who knows? Anyway, he does change gravity planes, implying that he's either on a Spelljammer or some very large, a structure large enough.
No, we're losing you again.
You
Structure large enough
to have its own gravity plane. Man, I don't know what to do to fix it. As an
like a-
idea.
Well, doesn't one of the void spheres, or don't both the void spheres kind of have their own gravity as well? A mass?
They don't have a gravity plane.
I don't think so.
Okay. Not in the same sense. Okay.
Oh,
No,
so
sir.
when you say gravity plane, we're thinking like how... Are we thinking like how Spelljammers have sort of a gravity plane, like a top and bottom?
That run through the middle of them. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we see him flip.
Yeah, he can. He's moving around. You would probably also see in the background a much larger spear.
Does it seem active in the same way ours are, or does it seem like
Fucking knew it.
It does seem. It looks just like the ones y'all have, but this one is 7-8 feet across.
Fucking Kardashev 3.
It does appear to be floating.
We're fucked.
Can he ask him a question? Excuse me, sir. Are you responsible for the Big Bang?
I would like to do one more
Like
crazy
the big
thing while
one?
we're scrying on him. Perhaps as he's approaching this device, I want to cast Detect Thoughts, and I'm going to use my prescience, because I can see him, because I'm scrying on him, to make his save a 2. So I'm digging deep, though.
I wasn't sure if you could do that or not. That's kind of cool.
It's important to a creature I can see, I'm pretty sure. I can look at
This dude has the power of a galaxy floating behind his head.
I can see some of the future. That's
bits
You
of stuff
can
And
around.
we're
replace
gonna
any-
detect his
He's
thoughts.
like 9 minutes looking at this guy's like 3 years back on Eberron.
Right.
You can replace any attack, saving throw, or ability check made by you or a creature that you can see.
He doesn't have to make a save. Does he have to make a save twice? Once for the original spell, and then one.
Once for scrying, once for detect thoughts. Yes.
But if you push deeper, he doesn't have to make another save. Like there's
Well,
not
no,
two
it's-
saves for that.
So I can cast detect thoughts and get surface without any save. I can read surface regardless. It's pressing deeper that requires the check, and that's what can alert them that something's eyeing them.
You said you wanted to make that a 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool.
Still passes.
Right.
Me triple check that, but I doubt it.
It had to be a plus 15.
Yeah, I was about to say I highly doubt it. He does get advantage, but that doesn't help when you're changing jiggers.
Jiggers.
So, all right. Well, this does appear. This void spear. He appears to have plans to use it to, in a similar way that Bree plans to use the Starbreaker. But instead of breaking the storm, he is going to use the storm to condense Eberron into a spear. You gather you guys have some time until this. There are lots of other. He is, both wizard and illithid. The amount of thoughts moving around in his brain at one time is staggering. You gather this isn't something he's going to do very soon, but preparations are nearly complete. He's awaiting something.
Does it seem like he's waiting for this meeting, or is he waiting for us to crack it open?
Well, it sounds like he's planning on, based on what he just said, he's going to use the storm to try and condense it. So,
Well, he might be waiting for us to break it to do that, or is he waiting for us to be that spark to his fire?
but now I have to wonder, like, is breaking the storm going to help or hinder him? Because if he's planning on using the storm to ease condensing the system,
Good
then
point.
breaking the storm would ruin his plans.
He's waiting on something to be delivered.
Okay, in that case, it's not us, I don't think. I think now I feel more confident than ever that breaking the storm is going to maybe sacrifice us, but benefit the system.
Do I get a sense, based on him, or basing on digging deeper, the thing next to him, the big void sphere, is going to be the device to do that? Like it's
Yes.
going to cost. Okay. So it does
That's
not.
why it's hard to tell because you can only see 10 feet in any direction.
Yeah.
It seems. Yeah, sorry, it's just hard to tell.
No, I got it. Interesting.
But it is definitely the impetus to do this. It's a fucking great episode. Like a jigger! Saw that episode the other day. Anyway, yeah, so those are the revelations from your Sunday in Philadelphia montage. Questions, comments, concerns?
I'm gonna have a moment before we leave the house, but I think also before we leave at some point, I'm going to see if anybody wants to decompress over a drink. That doesn't be right now, but I'm gonna see if anybody is down for. We've had a very
Echo's like,
stressful
"Me."
3 weeks.
I would like to mention, I've been vague about certain things because there's a hint you guys received a few sessions ago that might put some things in perspective. And I just haven't reiterated that hint because it's more fun that way.
Was I there for that sesh?
I can't remember.
Give it to him again, just to be safe.
When you say a few, do you mean literally 3, or do you mean somewhere in the window of 3 to 7?
I gave it to you at the same time that I told you the very vague stuff, like bring Void to Eberron. It was given to you in that chunk.
The hive? Can't tell if that's a secretive smirk or a you're fucking way off smirk. Alright. I found out some stuff, guys, by the way.
Apparently, you knew this shit before we scryed on you, fucker.
I didn't know that. I didn't know the whole Kardashev 3 thing. That was definitely meta. That was not Echo.
What you learn, man? Spill some beans.
Just reading what. Okay. So what I learned was illithids. I think we all knew that they have psionic powers, and there was a reference to the hive in his journal. I don't know if that was last session or before.
It was last session. I think you're right.
So they all kind of work on like a hive mindset. And whenever they use magic besides their psionics, they're kind of like outcast. And if they are outcast from the community, they tend to like die or go mad. In the hive mind, when they do die, if you're in the hive, you kind of become part of this elder brain. So when you're kind of cast out of this community, you no longer have access to that elder brain. I don't know if that's why they go mad or not, but many of them, or whenever they're outcast, they tend to try to find a replacement for this elder brain and can chase immortality in a way. If they don't, maybe it makes them not go mad. So some records have indicated that excommunicated illithids essentially try to aspire for lichdom.
Illithid.
Yeah, exactly. And that may be what we're dealing with here. They can never achieve full lichdom, but they have accomplished.
Not never.
Very few have ever achieved full lichdom, but many more accomplish a comparable undead state by creating some sort of liches work off of a phylactery. They create like this pseudo phylactery, and it's somehow
cosmos.
Perhaps, and it takes place in that elder brain, and they can get some limited form of undeath.
You mean they might look kind of like creepy bone creatures?
Right. An illith lich, like Joey had said. One notable thing is that records for these type of illithids are rare, but they should be treated with extreme caution. They're highly intelligent, dangerous, and immune to most common tactics employed against normal undead. That's what I found out.
Drat, I guess I won't use turn undead against them.
I'm wondering if that means radiant damage?
Question mark, question mark.
Guess
Who
we'll
knows?
find out, because I do have this crystal sword that has radiant damage.
What does your character know about the undead and what radiant damage does to them? Who could say?
Well,
went down
I
to
fight
study-
that
the studying
aren't
rabbit hole.
vampires undead?
I'm not afraid to tell you guys meta-wise that radiant damage doesn't do a metric ton of extra damage to undead. I don't know.
Some
I don't
of
know
them
that it
are
does.
vulnerable to it, but it's not like
Yeah,
a blanket thing.
You're right. And then in Strahd, I was like, it does double damage. Terrible. Terrible idea.
Gonna take some
Oh
notes
yeah, that
real
was
quick.
when I was a paladin too.
No, don't do
No, wait.
double damage.
That's what I'm
Do
saying.
if you
I was a rogue.
if they're having a really
Yeah.
hard time, make it do an extra 1d6 damage to undead. Except Strahd.
Let's see
Strahd
if,
was still kind of hard because he was a spellcaster. It was fun.
So what may be happening is this guy's trying to become immortal, and that's what's his motivation.
Interesting.
Y'all have, I've said before, y'all have evidence he is already very,
What was
Very
that
what?
word?
very, very old.
Oh yeah, dude didn't look fucking young by any means, but
What did you call him?
Because if you're
Illich?
Illithitch.
Illithitch? Well, I'm about to make him my Illo. Ooh.
a little glitch.
There was one other thing I think I remember Devin mentioning, a chosen one. Was it 2 sessions ago? I don't know if it was in the
While
diary.
y'all were in the dungeon.
Yeah,
in the war room.
they gotta obtain the chosen one, but I don't know.
And in the same room, you guys got another piece of information I haven't reminded you about.
The war room.
I need to go back and find my shit.
God, I'm looking at my notes.
This is fun. Like I think it's funny, but obviously I can't expect you guys to remember everything.
My notes for session 37 in entirety: lightsaber Githka, a noble one journal spellbook. That's all I wrote. down.
Like, I thought that I did so
It's
good about
feeling
keeping
better,
notes, but
I cannot keep notes during session. I don't blame any of you. That's what the recordings are for.
like session 35, my entire notes are: we went to a cave! Exclamation point. There's stuff in here. Cade got a fancy hat.
So we've discussed, the three overall. There's three kind of overall points you guys got in the war. First one is bring Void to Eberron. Second one was obtain the chosen one. Do you remember what the third one was? It's been referenced this session already. 3.
So hold on.
Didn't
End goal: bring
off
Void
the
to
ships?
Eberron. Whole table dedicated to the fact they're looking for a specific item. They're looking for the Ori.
They are looking for the Ori. That's not what I'm digging for. You remembered one I forgot. They are looking for the Ori.
We find a room full of documents. Plans to steal autonomes. End goal is to bring Void to Eberron. I don't think I have the hint you're looking for in my session notes.
3, 2, 1. There were lots of references in the war room to
With
the
the
fact
Yogi
they were-
Cruise,
Yes.
and he was having trouble with Niyogi. Sly was. Oh God. Did we message him that?
Bro, that's so early on. So is that why we had to go fight Niyogi, like, in sort of our system early on? Or was that, like, it was a thing?
It was an opportunity. It was a side quest.
Your dude's the chosen one.
No,
The
not
guy we
Cyrilius.
gave up. No, not Cyrilius, Aaron DeCannon.
Oh, no, not him.
Cyrilius is Randy.
You can message Sly if you want. I kind of want to know how you tell it to him, but you tell him. I won't keep super track, but
Upon
Should we say-
reviewing our notes, we've discovered that the unknowable one word, unknowable
Yeah.
one, has utilized Niyogi Cruz in his endeavors.
There you go. I was going to say plan.
Suspect your problem and ours are connected.
Yours truly.
You can respond to this message. Are you pooping?
you can
You a
respond. That's about as far as you get. I like you a hoe better than you pooping,
You-
which is iconic. She starts it
Oh,
that way.
Jester?
You
Yeah.
pooping.
It's fun. I have to give one quick spoiler. Matt does a in campaign 3. Jester messages them for Caleb because they've met Caleb and Bo before,
Mhm.
and he messages them using Jester, and he didn't end it with "Are you pooping?" and it is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard of. I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay. Interesting. Respond to this message. Much appreciated. Things have been quiet since I spoke with you all last. Any information you have on these things
Any information? What? Sorry.
that
Would
that
be
you have on
appreciated.
these things would be appreciated. I'm starting to think it's me. I start to slur and you can't understand me.
No, it's definitely cutting out.
Your mic's just like cutting off randomly for some words. I don't know why.
Order a new mic, Herd.
Hey, babe.
You ever heard of something other than Razor?
Not me. Cold member for life.
Couldn't be that guy.
Interesting. Oh, it's so bright.
That's a conservative estimate there, Brent.
Yes, we want to continue.
Yeah, just
Let's
let go and
that
get out of the way
question
now.
out the way.
If you're
Yeah,
willing to stay
okay.
awake, I would like to at least try to get to the ceremony if we're gonna like.
Same.
Whoop.
Yeah, I was hoping we could start the ceremony a little bit after break, but that's okay.
Deimos would like to talk to Vera. Before we get to
Okay. Let's do that. I was gonna say let's do that very last, but is there a particular time you want to go to her? 2 days before, a day before?
I would want to give a good bit of time, maybe a week before.
Okay.
I'm guessing after discovering this info.
This info, which would be pretty close. A week before was generous. 4 days before.
Okay, no, that'll do.
And there's one thing that I want to do, not the night before we go, but the night before that, because Randy's responsible and doesn't want to have a hangover at the ceremony.
I was about to say, do y'all want to have those drinks together? If y'all want to roleplay that, please do. I didn't mean to move past that.
No, I was going to save that for pretty close to the ceremony. So I figured I would invite everybody to come have some drinks, like I said, the night before, so that we're not feeling terrible the day of.
What's Brandy gonna do that you're talking about? Being responsible.
Before he goes and has those drinks, I'm gonna go have a moment in my room, which is why I was curious whether or not we were gonna have to give up the house, because I don't know if I can leave personal effects in the house or not. I didn't want them to get tossed out.
Said Randy's gonna have a moment. I mean, hard to tell if you don't come back in 2 years.
You know what? Sly
We'll
knows me.
talk about-
I feel like if there's something in there that he thinks is important, I feel like I know Sly well enough to know that he wouldn't just throw it in the garbage at least.
For sure. And we, as a group, will talk about maybe some of those minor details after the campaign's over. Demos has a spell that would allow you guys to turn period. Demos could learn a spell. The Void Spore. The Void Spear can cast. It would allow you guys to return periodically.
Does it do teleport? Oh, that's right. No, I remember looking at that last time.
So I wouldn't worry about the item just going poof. Brandy may not know that, meta-wise.
To be fair, Randy's not particularly smart anyway. He thinks this room is his bedroom forever, in perpetuity. He's like,
Y'all did put a down payment on the house, so.
I have left House Tarkanen ceremoniously, but not literally. And now this is my house.
You may go ahead if you wish, or we can move on to talking to Vera.
No, I'll just do it the night before. Let's go talk to Vera, and then we'll do the social thing.
Anybody have anything else before you go talk to Vera? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Y'all go speak with Vera de Kenneth. This is one of the rare occasions Bree is not there. You guys gather, being fairly close to liftoff, the day after they hope that Bree is probably very busy. And so y'all show up to where I will move you guys to the warehouse for the sake of the recording. Here you go, France. I'm way zoomed in from previous maps. Vera's like 4 days before. Somewhat frantically running around a vast majority. When you guys come in, Oz, the war, way to raise y'all's anxiety, and I fucked up and said that. Leads you guys in back to this kind of back. It's for the first time you guys have been to the back of the shop, for lack of a better term, through this big old bay door here, and you guys can see. Fix them. I'm not gonna do it now with this late. You guys see many of the auto gnomes lined up into neat little rows. There's 3 rows of, I think, per crew. Check that later. Kind of lined up, except for what would be the 3rd unit of auto gnomes. You can see she's running around doing a bit of repairs. Kind of, if you guys come in, I like to think she's cleaning one of them. Seems to be in the process of scuffing, polishing, and shining all of them. Most of them are that way, but she still has about half of the last legion to go. Legion's too big of a word, but I wanted to give you guys the idea. One of these units here, you see them all clustered together. They're all lined up in nice, neat battalion-looking formations. She's in the middle of cleaning them. You guys come in. She sees you guys brought in by Oz, and she turns and looks. She goes, "Oh, I figured you guys would be busy with preparations. How are you?"
Doing rather well, and yes, we are quite busy, as I imagine you are. I do have a quick thing to speak to you about. Do you have a moment?
I do. 1 second. Is A1?
Yes, yeah. If we come here, we probably.
She greets A1. She does the pretty.
Everyone says, "What's up, bitch?"
I think at this point she doesn't even flinch. She does. She does use her normal. She does do her normal. She kind of. I imagine in my head she crouches down and is like either grabbing his hand or maybe cleaning him up a little bit and is asking him, drills him with questions. This has happened pretty much every time you guys have come to visit. She goes. She catches up on everything A1 has said or has to say or. Ask him how he's doing, what's up, and how he feels. After that, she'll stand back up. She'll say, "Of course, I always." And then she stops.
You obviously have several crews of these ready that you're planning on presenting at the ceremony. Do you have any that are built but not yet functional, that you've created but haven't been given life?
So, just to reiterate, these that you see me moving around on the map, hopefully, these are not like A1. They don't have life, for lack of a better term. They are very
Robotic.
Robotic. Thank you. If you're asking about some like husk, I guess I would call them, she will say. We always have some that are in production. Why do you ask? I mean, of course. And she kind of like, she doesn't look panicked, but she goes, huh. And you guys' crew is almost done. It's ready in time. Vera thought it might be best to have them on the bombard ship. Bree thought it might be best to have them on the bombard ship. So we've made enough to crew that ship. They should be done, hopefully.
The reason I ask, we have reason to believe that the ceremony will be the target of an attack by some of the individuals that we've been tracking down. I know that part of this reason, they might be trying to get a hold of the Autonom. It may just be that it's a gathering point for many people. Regardless, I feel like if you were to either both increase the security at the event, but also substitute the autonomes at the event for the shells. Deliver the actual crews at another time or place, perhaps where they're more protected. If this individual does seek to obtain your autonomes, they'll be relatively easy targets in such large numbers.
Sheesh, good thinking, Deimos.
Yeah, I'm impressed. That's very very savvy. So, but things are not quite that easy. That was, bless you, that was very good. I was sitting here like, look, it takes so long to get the ceremony, but I live for that.
Yeah.
That you had that idea blossom from the situation. 2 seconds. Things are not quite that easy. Sorry, I'm fixing these where y'all can see them. Fuck. Pardon my language, YouTube. I don't know why all of a sudden I needed all my brain space to do this, but we're done now.
Half of them are lying down on the job. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't rotate things. Anyway, it's not. As you can see, processing quickly. Are you sure about this? And you can see that there's this moment of like, she's sitting here like, there's no fucking way attack a whole ceremony and then watch the reality sort of set in. There's been all these attacks on the warehouse. You guys have done all this stuff and told her all these things already. You know, this isn't really coming out of the blue, for lack of a better term. And she kind of spins around, stops, looks around. He goes, I don't know that we have that delivery quickly with Lyander or with Orion. I think realistically. I don't understand.
Just 1 second, because we lost a bit of that.
Okay.
Back up. What did she say? I heard we don't have enough of them, I think.
And it would be, so she expresses it would be very difficult to arrange, you know, a different pickup time with Orion and Lyander on such short notice.
if it's with speaking with them, I would sort of encourage that if they attempt to pick them up at the ceremony, they may be unsuccessful. I would also like to try something. Are these the smallest automations that you've made? The auto gnomes?
Yeah, it's the only automatons I've ever worked on.
Deimos is going to take the void sphere and try to make an auto gnome. It is a construct. I get it might
You
not be
mean
alive.
you want to make a husk?
Yes.
Okay. It's very sloppy looking. Your brain doesn't quite have all of the details that encompass a fully sculpted auto gnome, but you make something that looks very much like one. And y'all watch as Demos, like a 3D printer held in his hands, builds a husk of an auto gnome out of which void spear do you use?
The big one.
While you're doing this, Farah is watching you do this, and as you get, three quarters of the way done, she goes, "Where the fuck did you get that, and what is it?"
I mean, I guess we're pretty tight with Mira. Quick neck check, Prick her finger, make sure she's bleeding.
Make an insight check, one of you.
Not me.
Full disclosure, I did not know he could do that.
That goes like, mm-mm.
Be fair, I didn't either.
It's the first try. Woof.
Oh no, not you.
Ooh.
15's better.
Rex's passive is 21 anyway.
You said
Perception
insight,
or
yeah?
insight? Yeah.
Well, I guess.
Oh, 21.
That's fair.
Yeah, my passive insight.
37.
What was it, Ben? You cut out?
So my passive insight's only 6, which isn't bad.
It's not bad. Echo roll first, but Drix is a 16. Carry on.
You do normally allow 2 rolls, so
That is sustained. Demos, she bleeds red. You don't see any scars on her neck.
Like that.
while this is
There was
happening,
an insight check assistant.
What? She bleeds red and you...
I
that
mean,
means
yeah.
that she's probably good.
She's not a changeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not a changeling. She isn't Chip. Fuck. You know what? I'm gonna take out the scry ball and detect thoughts on her.
Can you do that without scrying her first?
Oh, I don't know.
I guess you could just get.
Can't you just
If it
detect
just
thoughts?
says if you can see, I guess you can. She's also going to watch you take out another crystal ball. This one clear instead of like solid wormhole black. She's going to like share a weird look with the rest of the group while you're trying to cast a spell. Like, what the fuck? She go,
It technically does say while
it is-
scrying them, but
it does say while scrying them.
I do have the detect thoughts spell too. I should say.
Well, she made a little bit of a fuss about figuring out how to handle like House Lander, and
Lander
the
and
other one.
Orient. How to
Orient.
handle rearranging a drop off. Yeah. Because they're expecting to get them after the ceremony.
They're in a separate room. I don't know. I kind of want to prop my feet up, be like, oh, by the way, listen. So, I don't think that you can really clue them in on what we're planning, giving them some fakes, because we have on good intel that at least some House Land or individuals are being held against their will, potentially. The main thing is we got to keep this real quiet, close to the vest. So if we're going to put fakes up there, you got to make sure nobody outside of this room knows that's happening, so we can draw out anybody who might be affiliated. You understand what I'm saying?
Good point. Tell them that perhaps
I think she gets very pale when you insinuate that she could try to reach out to House Lander. That information could go to whoever's been trying to raid her warehouse. She'll say that's not terrifying at all. Can I see that? She gestures to the void spear.
And I just want to make you aware, I'm trusting you a lot telling you that, so do me a solid. Keep it close.
People have been trying to kill me for weeks, Randy. Buck. Yeah, Buck.
Ramble.
I'm not too worried about it. If I'm being honest. Can I see that?
When
We
she
couldn't
asked
just
that, I will.
maybe say that we'll deliver him via Spelljammer 6 hours after the ceremony. We'll have a few for the ceremony to present.
Well,
but
my
then-
thought is put like a row of the husks up front, and then like how they're here, put 4 real ones up front that are just husks, and then the 8 behind we void sphere and fucking make fucking shittier copies that are hidden behind the others.
If
Just
if
not even all of them.
if assuming it's not dangerous, I think I could make them like you did, but more
I
accurate.
detect thoughts in. I'm gonna tell her. I hope you understand that I've got to be thorough and who I trust. Do you mind if I take a look?
I don't know that you would know this raw, but she chooses to fail the save. And probably the biggest thing you get is absolute terror.
Same though.
This is everything that she's ever worked on. You guys, who she genuinely trusts, has come in and told her that there is apparently a plan to snatch her life's work out from under her at a public ceremony with her boss present. And there's a lot of mixed up thoughts about, well, what the else think about this? How do I make this decision without his input? Not how, but oh no, I need to make this decision without his input. And you know that she's a little worried about whatever the fuck you're holding. It doesn't look a happy object, like a happy item. She's and just this hint of worry about all of you, about how'd you get that? Well, how the fuck do you know this kind of thing? And of course, in the very back sliver of her mind, this it's almost like watching a war happens in someone's mind about whether or not she's going to go with Bree on the expedition. So you get a very much stuck your eyes into the head of a person who has way too much shit going on in their life.
I want to look for 2 particular things. I want to look
Okay.
to see, does she know who has been breaking into the warehouse?
No.
Does
Lots
she,
of anxiety about that.
is she communicating what we tell her to anybody else in house? Mechanic, like she telling Niles anything that we've associated with. Well, not anything, I guess, but
Not anything that doesn't relate to the autonomes. So she would probably tell him this, but
okay. Last question: has she ever seen or have any idea what the void sphere is?
no. She's significantly worried about how you've tamed something that looks like that.
I will hand it to her, and I will tell her to be careful with it.
And with that information, you should 1000% tell her that she cannot tell anybody outside of this room what we're discussing, even Thiles.
And I will do that.
And you can tell as she's holding it, she's looking at it, looking down at it, and eyes are wide, handed off to her. Contact with her skin. She goes, I'm not sure I want to know how you all got this.
You do not.
But I am not under obligation to tell him everything that goes on in my life. As far as I'm concerned, this is personal. She turns. She kind of squeezes it for a second. And actually, I'm going to say she takes 10 minutes to cast Identify. Because that's about the only way she would know how to cast spells out of it.
Yeah.
I
guess what I'm doing is regurgitate matter. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I want her to know everything about.
You would get 10 minutes because she would be chanting under her breath. Demos would know immediately that she's
9 minutes and 45 seconds to decide if we want to let her know what that does or not. Is that
I think
thing
you
Careful
said it
doing
right.
that. You could see stars after doing that.
There he is.
That
I don't
this
like
one
Chiefs
actually
Makes me-
doesn't eat planets, so maybe she wouldn't learn anything that's too crazy.
And with Identify, she would know like what you could cast with it, but would she know the origins of it, how it was created?
I
Like,
mean,
would she get
No,
that
you
level
guys
of
had to do a
detail?
lot of research to figure out how they were created.
So all she really knows is that it can cast these specific spells and do these things. She wouldn't know this is a planet she's holding.
She would get a vibe like you guys that however it came to be was not a happy story. But beyond that, no.
I mean, I would even
Just
express
doesn't
I feel
pass the
icky about
VOD.
it too. Like, I don't like it.
What'd you say, Brandon? I missed it.
I was just saying it doesn't give off a good vibe.
Mm.
Poopy item.
So it sounds like y'all don't stop her? Okay.
I'm
No.
not sure what
Okay.
she's doing.
That's fair. She identifies it. She furrows her brow. She looks uneasy, but as she had said earlier, she wanted to know. She kind of glances at you. This, but it's a marvel. She creates a very passable facsimile of one of the husk. And then she says, Oh, it's infinite. They all know that. Okay. She says, I think I could make quite a few of these very quickly.
You don't think this is how Thiles does it, huh?
Oh, God. Why'd you say that?
Is that we know that he gives them some form of sentience. I
Yeah,
guess-
she says yeah, that's a good point. We construct them here. That's quite a large amount of my job is constructing the husks themselves. If he has a way to manufacture the parts this quickly, I'm not aware of it. We have to source them from several places. I don't know how he gives them sentience, for lack of a better term.
You've never seen him do it.
No, he's the only one that knows, as far as I'm aware. Except, he apparently has a brother that's very skilled. I've only heard him talk about him once or twice.
Now's the time to detect thoughts and see if she's going to tell us where Thiles lives so we can go interrogate that homie.
You guys will get to meet him at the ceremony.
You're muted, Joey.
Think of that. Styles has a brother?
Mhm.
Does he
Yes.
also have the ability?
That's the one
Right.
we escorted to.
Terran.
I didn't realize that was his brother. Oh, shit.
He's
Yeah.
he's the oldest Decannith. So yeah, to
Wait,
recap that piece of history, Merrick's Decannith Senior, not alive anymore, is historically accredited for creating Warforged. Really, Aaron, his youngest, was the one you guys escorted, is the one that figured out how to create Warforged.
Interesting.
Styles is the middle child, and then Merrick's Jr. is the youngest child. He's not super prevalent to this canon.
What's he up to? Can we go interrogate
He's
him?
he's the Baron of House Cannith and Sharn. Right now in canon Eberron, House Cannith is divided into 3 factions because the main King faction was destroyed during the Wicked. I don't know how to give lore to y'all outside of the game. Eberron lore's neat.
Is Merrick's dead?
Senior?
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
old. He's dead.
Okay.
I think that's what caused the rift, right?
No,
The
sir.
separation.
When the morning happened, the
Right.
person that ran House Cannith, like that country that got obliterated, Seer, that's where the main Cannith headquarters was. So when the morning happened, it got broken up into 3 factions. A faction in Undare, a faction in Sharn, and a faction further north. Can't remember the name of.
Okay. So
Y'all don't get me started on Eberron
is
lore.
that
I
why they
love
moved Aaron to Undare so that he could pick up?
He
Okay.
essentially
Like, what
defected.
direction, right?
He's essentially defected from House Cannith to Undare, to the Royal Eyes specifically.
I'm just curious if they're gonna make him use him as a weapon himself. Anyway, that's interesting.
And some of this is really weird because it's a blend of Eberron canon and personal canon twisted for this campaign. So if y'all are interested in that, hit me up outside of session. I'll be glad to hash out canon and not canon with y'all.
Well, now that I've seen Deimos completely unexperienced make one of these things, and that's the only clue that we have that could do it, I'm very curious, more so now, how Thiles does it. If he has a void sphere, is he the chosen one?
Well, they build them here, so they make them from parts.
Right, but the animating the life aspect into it.
And
I don't
well,
think Spear can do that.
yeah, no, it can't. He's just making husks, so they're lifeless.
Okay. So how did they get the first one then? A1.
Files.
Yeah, so right.
But we
He
don't
gave
know.
And that's maybe something y'all are forgetting that I don't know if this helps or not actually. There are the ones that are like robots, the crew. Only the ones that can cast spells, like A1, are sentient.
Right.
So there are in the warehouse, this is actually my fault. There would be in the warehouse 3 others that are moving
A2,
around.
A3, A4.
I was about
Yeah.
to say
Is
A2.
That
one of
are-
them? Is Oz one of them, or is he like an actual Warforged?
Oz is an actual Warforged. Let me get the tokens for you guys. Oh no. Y'all
So
are gonna get to laugh at the names of these autognomes a session or
So what Deimos made is not
Rocket, Spring.
an A is not an A5.
no, it is not
Okay.
an A5.
Okay. All right.
I have one more question.
It's gonna be big.
Was the sentience in these guys intentional, or was it an accidental side effect of what they were trying to do with creating these other forged?
A1, you look much more handsome.
Do
I
you,
appreciate it.
do you ask Vera that? I was so pissed. You know how many iterations of generation I had to do to get something that even looked like him? I'm mad.
I mean,
Go ahead, Josh.
I would ask Vera that. I would essentially ask, like, I understand that these machines don't operate, they don't live the same way as our little buddy A1 here. Was he intentional, or was he like an unexpected accident, a side effect of whatever you're using to animate these shells?
It's my
Intentional, or was it like an oops, all steak sauce?
no, it's my understanding that the files. This was a result of his research. That he knew the creation forgers were outlawed, and there had to be another way to create something more forged equivalent. And this was a result of his research. I don't believe A1 was an accident.
I was, for the record, but
Same, brother.
Then we started on Heinz. Goddamn Heinz fucking ketchup.
God.
Fun fact, Heinz ketchup was the first thing to advertise in a clear bottle. One of the first things to advertise in a clear bottle.
I feel like there are more questions I want to ask,
information.
but I can't formulate it right now. I don't know. Are the others here? Are the other like sentient?
Yeah, I
autognomes
put their
here?
tokens on the map.
They're huge.
Yeah, so y'all can see them. I'll make them a little bigger.
I mean, if I would have seen them, you don't have to do that. If I would have seen them here earlier, I'd have been like, "Hey, were these created before or after A1? Have they been here the whole time, or are these like new additions?"
Steak sauce
to
is the
your-
OG, I think.
Steak sauce is the OG. And I like to think they are doing their best, because if you remember, A1 was a little bashful of you guys. He was hiding when you first encountered him. And these have stayed to the back. They haven't approached. They definitely seem to be trying to make themselves small. You know, they're definitely trying not to be noticed too much. You gather this is probably a side effect of the way they've been taught. You know, Vera's kind of explained to them that there's dangers about and they need to be careful.
Deimos is going to teach
But
all
if
players
you-
Fireball.
If you asked Brandy, she would say, they were made after A1. A1 is the first. Hence the reason you all protect him. And you can see her like, I owe you guys salary. You can't see me
bit.
counting on my fingers.
I'd say
You can't see
about
me counting on my fingers.
I'd say about 15,000 gold covers a house, right? Anyway, I'd also ask. I got one more question about this. He intends on continuing to create these. To what means? Is it just to create more life? Is he going to keep churning these out? What do you plan on doing with them?
He's
Selling them for money.
Yeah, he's gonna sell them, of course. And I'll break her voice there to go to Meta Talk. It is like they're getting ready to present these crews to the other houses that control transportation. They plan to mass manufacture them and sell them as crews for airships, the trains, the lightning rails, and mostly for Spelljammers.
So these ones are the only ones that can actually control spelljammers, because they're the only ones that can actually cast spells.
The specific one, yeah. The magic casters, yes. The ones with sentience, yes. They are the Spelljammer captains, the ones that sit in the helms.
Okay. Now, one more question. You haven't sat down to think about how he's given these things life? Isn't that kind of weird?
I have thought about it a lot, and to be honest, I have no fucking clue. He's extremely tight-lipped about how he does it. I've never heard him talk about it. I can't get anything. And believe me, you know, I second to Bree, I spend the most time with him than anyone else, and I've never heard him give any reference. Whatever it is that he knows about how to do this,
you say the Creation Forge is shut down. Could a Creation Forge have done similar things? I understand that back in the day,
Creation Forge-
Warforges.
Yeah, I created the Warforge.
Right. So he's either operating something he shouldn't be, or he's doing this in a way
and
he
this
shouldn't
is
be
like
doing it.
20 sessions ago now, but that was something I stressed in session 8, 9, 10, 11, that he is infamous, either one, for the fact that he's created these things because of that. No one knows how he's making them without the forge, which are all supposed to be shut down.
It's like a dark part of me that's like, he could be using the Creation Forge, but for some reason my brain went to like, he's transposing souls into machines.
Sounds like a stealth mission.
Calm down, Tucker. You guys have any other question or comments for Vera?
I'll end my line of questioning there. I think I've asked all the questions I want to know about.
She would introduce you guys. I like to think, Vera's, I like to measure as sort of tomboyish. She is not easily cowed, but she looks just a little embarrassed, and she points to each one in turn. She says, this is fish sauce, hollandaise, and horseradish.
You know, Devin, as much as you sigh at all my puns,
You brought this on yourselves.
Sorry, fish sauce
This is-
holidays, and I died before I
I
heard
was
the
about to
third
say,
Horseradish.
This
No-
is honey
no
mustard,
cocktail?
Worcestershire, and sriracha.
Thank you. I needed a fourth one for y'all's crew.
one. Oh my god, that is. Oh, we're getting sriracha. We spicy.
Y'all
boys.
getting sriracha.
That is so fucking funny. Okay.
You brought this on yourselves. I have no pity. You made this
loving
from
it.
Dune to Flash Gordon.
Deimos dies a little bit, but glad the naming convention stuck. God.
She
this
looks-
horseradish one looks a little spicy too.
Devin's dying. Get a little green one, call him wasabi.
If he was dying, he would look happier, I promise.
Brandon gets it. Sorry, I swallowed wine down the wrong pipe. Oh, one of the Archer lines that I identify with the most is utter contempt for my own mortality. Okay. Sorry about
Good.
that. Anyway, she does look embarrassed. She says, Bree thought it was cute, so we kept the nicknames. They are, of course, A2, B7, etc. Except they do have their own. She could rattle off for you their big long numbers.
Randy twirls his hair. He's like, I thought you were kind of cute, but
I was thinking, that's not the only thing Bree thought was kind of cute, am I right? Elbow her.
I think they're like, she goes from this like, at first she's like, that's what I'm looking for. Furious, and then just kind of the thoughts of the differing anatomies creep in. She's like,
Some differing anatomies. What?
she turns and continues. I'm gonna move her now that is updated. She's probably, she's working on the last unit, trying to get her. Oh, I lied. She can prestidigitate. Fuck that. She will clean them with prestidigitation later. If you guys are okay with leaving me with this object, I'll make the rest of the fakes we need. Do you do a character? No.
Absolutely not. Sorry, I value your life too much to do that for you.
No.
but
So,
how's she
I
gonna
see-
make them?
Regurgitate matter is 1 charge a day. There's
Oh,
8
that's a good point.
charges. In 3 days, we're assuming it fills up completely at the end of the. How many shells do you have?
They're expecting whole crews, man.
Yells.
How many
What was Thiles?
unfinished autonomes do you already
It
have?
looks like 12 per crew.
Yeah, she's probably got 5 or 6. We'll say 6.
Where the fuck is regurgitate matter? I just saw you, bitch.
It makes me weirdly happy to hear you like trying to look up my spells. They're all gonna get combed over before they get put into a book. But
Where the heck is masticate food?
masticate?
Yeah.
Means chew.
It doesn't
Hurt.
say how it regains charges.
Every dawn.
Okay, so
It's kind of
that
my
can-
default for most
she
items.
can
Though, let me double check. I think it is long rest for the spears. 1 second. I know I set that setting. It doesn't say on them.
It does not.
So then
Fuck.
You have to
we
type.
would've-
it doesn't put it in the thing unless you type it in there. I
So
think.
we would have had to
Where it
have brought
asks,
this
like-
over like at the start of this 3-week period
Well,
to get enough
We're
of them.
4 days out, so there's 3 days left. She could use it 8 times today. I could bring it back tomorrow, use it 8 more times, etc., etc.
Oh, you get that many charges? I thought it was one time per day.
Although regurgitate matter is 1 charge, we have 8 charges. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 8.
It is every long rest for the
Gotcha.
void spear.
So she
Sorry.
could make enough for the crew because it only takes 12. So theoretically, we could let her have it.
Because you
today.
need, if you follow Demos's plan, you need 4, 8, 16, 24, 36,
Oh, for the full crew.
8.
24. If there's 6, if there's 12 in a crew and there's 3 of them, 36.
36.
But one of those
So-
crews is ours, I assume.
No, sir. These 3 are being given away. Yours is not done.
So for that, how many shells does she have? Is what I'm asking. She said she has
6.
She has 6. So we have to make 30 of them. We couldn't make 30.
No, there's no way. We don't have the time. And then there's the whole.
Decisions, Mantis.
We need to make sure that she holds back these sentient ones because I don't want those guys at the ceremony unless they're going to be here unguarded. In which case, they should be with us. I don't know.
Oh, you say that out loud?
I mean, yeah, I'm planning with her. I guess
It's-
out loud.
She looks not frantic, but again very stressed. They are to be presented up front, at on a raised platform.
You need to make a change
On a
plans right
raised
now
platform.
because they need to be somewhere that is at least sort of secure and safe. Putting
if
them on
we
a pedestal is a bad idea.
What if we took a 1G1, cast a mirror image on him to make it look like they were? Would that pass like a visual inspection?
Wouldn't A1 have to be on site for this?
But rather than having all 4 of them there, having one of them.
I see your logic. And you can tell this is a part where she's starting to look very stressed. She says, "You all don't think you get them for being taken?"
Well, we really hope so, but the goal is to make them, if we are unsuccessful, to have them gain as little collateral as possible.
Yeah,
Have
man.
as many of them be the ones that we're manufacturing, have as many of them be empty shells as we
I feel pretty confident that our group can largely protect them. The problem is, the more of them there are, the more likely it is somebody's going to sneak off of one, cause extensive damage to one, do something that is irreparable. It is my opinion that we try to narrow those losses and focus our intent on just a handful of people that we can protect, or whatever you want to call them.
What if you had one crew that was there for display and the other crews were given privately? I know that you've said that might not be easy to do, but we could guarantee a Spelljammer delivery day of.
I can't make that decision without speaking with House Lander. We could attempt.
We're gonna give you some corporate backbone. You have the product; they're the customer. You tell them when you can get it to them. They don't get to choose.
It's not always my decision.
That's what I'm saying. You tell them we can't give them to you at the ceremony. Here's when you're gonna get them. It's that or nothing.
It's not hard to gather. She's talking about Thiles. Thiles makes the ultimate decision on that sort of thing.
Maybe we should talk to that son of a bitch.
Me? I like to think at this point she's looking around. She's look. I don't care how they get them that day. it's not my forte to decide how this is approached. I will do whatever you guys decide is best to keep the most of them safe that we can and get them to our customers as soon as we can. I think as you guys turn to discuss this, you see her like whispering into the side of her hand.
Excuse me?
I mean, see her cast a message spell into her hand.
Can I cast
Ma'am?
eavesdrop?
Ma'am, I said you need to keep whatever's happening here between us, and it don't seem like you're doing
I
that.
do.
I'm not gonna make y'all. I'm not gonna make y'all roll. You guys hear her reference Bree. Probably the first thing she says out of her mouth is "Hey Bree."
Hey, bae.
Yeah. Hey Bay.
Okay, she's panicking. She wants to talk to her girlfriend. That's fine, whatever. But she better come here, and she better not leave.
I mean, I don't think y'all would get every single bit of the conversation. You don't hear anything that makes you think she's talking shit she shouldn't be.
So I got two lines of thought. Either, and we could do both. We either set up a trap where there is very much a group
Uncle
of
P,
them
y'all have fun.
that could be taken, and we sort of scout that out. And the other thought is that we do what you said and sort of set up an illusory version of a group of them that could be taken that's a little bit closer to the main event. I don't see what stops us from doing both. Maybe we submit one group of fake Void Forged, or not Void Forged, these are whatever you want to call them, because we have enough time to make one whole 12 group plus, the sentient one. We put those somewhere that's closer to the front, or maybe we can make those the ones that are easy to take. So we try to see who's going to try and assault the group, and keep a watch on that, while the main ones stay closer to a larger group so that it's less likely they'll go for that when it's easy pickings. I don't know.
Yeah, with the 6 he has and the 16 we can make, we're looking at 22. So all but 2 in one group. You can have 2 groups taken care of. So there would be one group that has that would have to be fully auto-gnomed.
My thought is we set a group up, right, that is just like all fake, and then one that's like an illusion of A1 or somebody else sort of in that grouping, and we make that one look like the easy pickings, like the simple target. If you're going to go for a group, that's the group you go for if you're a saboteur.
Well, I'm kind of worried they're going to go for the whole shebang, like try to get them all, but I get you.
They probably will. I just feel like if they're going to try to pick something off or steal something, they're going to go for the easy pickings first and then try to like attack everybody afterwards. I don't know. So I'm trying to think about how to set the simplest trap.
That's fair.
That's tough. Because I agree,
So-
they might just as much show up and just like try to blow everybody up and be like, we can repair the machines.
I don't know why anyone would
wait a
ever
sec.
do that.
So I have polymorph now, and I'm gonna touch Randy. I need you to go with me here. Can I polymorph him into an autognome?
Can you put polymorph in chat, please?
Yeah.
Doesn't it have to be a beast?
That's what I was about to
Oh,
say.
maybe it does. T-Rex?
You've seen dinosaurs.
Randy was like,
Oh,
no,
God.
but now yes.
We have seen dinosaurs. That's right. Sorry, it's being stupid.
A one-shot jungle Eberron dinosaur one-shot would be fun. The writing an adventure from scratch has made me much shorter forms of story.
Any beast whose challenge rating is equal to or less than. But hey, steak sauce is a beast at beer pong. Surely that counts.
Unfortunately not. As I said a few sessions, we could, but we.
So, as a shape changer,
Oh.
Good,
I
maybe.
can make myself appear as a member of another race, which I believe the Autognomes is a race.
You're not limited the same way that the Sky Self is, with like the 1 foot shorter or 1 foot taller, are you?
The only thing it says is like, it has to have the same basic arrangement of limbs that I have.
You can make yourself look like an Autognome.
Hell
I
yeah.
also-
So if we set up a group of like fake ones and you disguise yourself as like the sentient one, sort of like
A6.
in presentation, yeah, A6, Sriracha, whatever you want to call them,
Cocktail.
without the sauce.
Gotta be sauces. Yeah, seems to be sauces. I like
Yeah,
sriracha so far.
That could be
Pretty awesome.
interesting because then you could attack if you needed to, and also alert the group like, "Hey, something's going down."
Yeah, because I don't know where we planned on being. If it's a parade type ceremony.
Bear could tell you it's not a parade. It is a presentation on one of these skyways in Sharn. So it'd be kind of like being on a big stage. Now, seating around you would be 360. You'd be up on a platform in the middle of a circle.
I would not
Small.
probably have my bow or scimitar on me
I'll try to
doing that.
determine that while y'all are planning. What ability do you use to change shape? What's it called?
It's a racial trait, just a shape changer. As an action, I change my appearance and my voice.
Shape changer. Let me read that while y'all are planning.
So when you get a second, or I don't know, small, medium.
It
They're
doesn't.
medium. They're like dwarf-ish sized.
It
I
doesn't.
can use alter self on one person to change them to look like one.
I mean,
So
if you
my
really-
clothing and equipment aren't changed by the trait.
Interesting choice. You can't duplicate. Interesting point. You can't duplicate the appearance of an individual you've never seen. You have to look like one of, A1.
Right.
Your clothing and equipment aren't changed by this trait. Yeah, you wouldn't be holding your weapons if you wanted
Right.
to. Okay. Continue.
What if you, instead of changing, could we use a disguise self or disguise kit? Like, we can get that kind of stuff from Sly, right? How much does that change your appearance? Can we change ourselves to look like autonomes using...
I think you would still potentially fail a check. Like if someone had a strong enough perception, they could see through it.
And I guess with Detect Magic, they
Right.
could also see that a spell was cast, and they might... I don't know. If they're
Right.
supposed to be magical,
Whereas
it
with-
might
But
not
if the
matter.
autonomes are magical constructs, they might give
Right.
off their own magic.
That's what I'm thinking. They might not. That might not matter exactly. But you
I
have
also
to
have
pass,
a scroll of lesser invisibility that we never used.
What if? Okay, what if you disguise
Art.
yourself and you went up on stage and we were members of the audience?
Disguise myself or
Like transform yourself.
Since
Uh-huh.
Vera is there, she would mention that since you agreed to come, you all are expected to set up on the main platform with Files, Bree, myself, Kaladin. I think that's it.
Oh, so we're like honor guests. We get stage seats.
Yes, sir.
so
Since
we'll
you
be
said
right
that.
there. Yeah, then I would see no point in doing that then.
I mean, we'll be right there if somebody tries to snatch them. They're not going to try to blow them up.
So I hate that I'm enabling this because I'm curious. Could you put your Echo in your seat and still do this if you really wanted to, Echo?
He appears translucent. Right.
Oh, I see. You're
Let
right.
me give you the
But how well do
Oh.
they know what Echo
No,
is?
from
Like it's
place.
called Baba Yaga. Keeps flipping in and out of it.
I had a great time listening to y'all stress about this.
Now listen, I think that's actually a cool idea. You put your Echo in the seat because who knows what Echo is actually made out of. Very few people have actually seen Echo. The people who have seen Echo would be in on the plan. You put your illusory version of yourself in the seat, and then you actually change your shape to be one of the autonomes on the stage. Like the spellcasting ones, the sentient ones.
Mhm.
That could be neat.
I also have the Echo as a familiar. Like if we wanted to move him somewhere. I was looking for the wording on how he appears. I don't see it.
I could do major image, but it only lasts 10 minutes. So if they
I'll
were
keep it static.
revealed, you could have them there for a second, and I could do a 20-foot cube. If
If
they're 4x3, I could do a whole squadron of them with major image.
Here's the thing: if we're gonna be on the stage, we're gonna be right behind the sentient gnomes. Like, they're not gonna try to destroy them because they need them. So they're probably not gonna cast any kind of crazy AoE spell or something that would kill them. I wouldn't imagine.
Maybe we
Um,
double up and stand beside the gnomes. This
Yeah,
way we're in
I just
lockstep. with them.
I just want to stay close enough to them to make sure they don't get snatched. But otherwise, I think we're already close enough where like it's gonna be difficult to take them. I think it's just gonna turn into essentially a freaking all-out brawl, like a battle royale in the middle of this thing, is what I'm guessing. It's gonna turn into Thunderdome, literally inside the
Yeah.
dome.
Also, if it was relevant, I'd have to maintain 30 feet distance with my echo, or it'll disappear.
Doable though.
Is it 30 or 1,000?
Well, if I'm using it as a familiar, or the echo avatar is the
I see.
technical name, and I'm transferring my conscious kind of into it, I would see through the echo's eyes and ears. During this time, I'm deaf and blind for up to 10 minutes.
Mm,
I
Okay.
feel like we're making this way, like I feel like we're overcomplicating
Right.
this, trying to like espionage it. I feel like at this point we should just straight up be like, listen, here's a plan, Vera. We're gonna be on the stage. You know we're gonna be on the stage. Make sure when the gnomes walk up that they are like freaking close to us, like they're standing in front of our chairs almost. That way, at least if something goes down, we're within reaching distance of them. We can react, try to do something, save them. And if somebody tries
I
to
like
kill
that.
them, well, that's a stupid idea. Why would they do that? But if they do, I guess.
Well, if it's a competing house and they don't want Lyander to basically have a mechanopoly spell jamming traffic, that's just a
So,
crazy conspiracy theory. But
yeah.
Favorite
So,
kind.
Bear's
I
already
would
said
agree
that.
with Randy, Buck Ramble.
Yeah, whatever plan y'all come up with, she's willing to follow. I will say, it's getting later-ish. I would like to get your plan knocked out tonight, so we can start the ceremony ASAP next
Yeah.
session.
We'll do roleplay stuff next session because we're not going to make it tonight for sure.
So,
Could have that drink.
Yeah.
I guess we could.
But the plan, I would agree with, like I said, Randy. Just if we're going to be on stage, put us close. If anything happens, we're right there to try to stop it.
I just want them to be within like standard movement distance of us in case there's like a surprise round or something or like a single round. I want to be able to move 30 feet and get to them is what I'm driving at. In an ideal world, it would be more like 10 or 15 feet so that we're sort of half that distance and then we have a little extra to cover them.
I'm cool with being like 150 feet away and maybe being like a sniper lookout.
Ooh, I like it.
It's kind of cool. 1 second.
And then I think, what is your message range? 120 feet? So
Mine's
maybe 120 feet.
for telepathy. So,
Right. So let's just say a good 100 foot away, up high.
Well, so what I'll say is, Vera could tell you guys a little bit. I should have done this earlier, but brain wasn't working. Vera would tell you guys will be at most 90 feet away from the furthest auto gnomes. The way the seating is arranged currently, they are up on a platform, so not only are the magical ones on their own platform, the crews they plan to display on a separate platform behind the leaders, the pilots is what I would call them. You guys will be seated. I don't know if this will make sense. About 90 feet from the furthest corner of the back platform.
What if we
so-
make the platform have a trap door? So if something tries to take it, we can just trigger the trap door. Boom, they fall down into a safe space.
Are you saying it's built like it's staggered? Like there's a sort of main stage. There are the spell casting auto gnomes that are here. We'll be sitting on a stage with those. And there's like a platform behind that that's elevated with the actual
Yeah, hold on.
crews, the non-sentient crews.
Hold on. This is what I'm going to do. I think it is a
Just
better idea.
imagine Iron Man 2 Or 3.
Hmm?
Yeah, 2.
Do,
With
do,
the
Here's a little screen clip. You guys should be able to see 2 stages, a little podium that a noble is standing behind. Spoiler alert, that's tiles.
the unknowable one, you
In-
ho.
And little chairs kind of
I see.
lined up where Bree and Vera and Kaladin are sitting and a random noble.
So,
That those 6 chairs left over, those are y'all's chairs.
so there's like a
Now,
little mini stage in
You
the
see
front.
and that's where the sentient autonomes are standing. The less ornate platform behind that is where the crews are standing. That far left corner, top hand corner for this picture, is about 95 feet away.
what's that giant circle on the bottom left?
Who knows?
So those are stationary stages. They're not elevated. It's more like just stages that are separated. and
They
staggered.
they are elevated, but 4 feet, 5 feet. They're not
Yeah.
enough that I don't think I would charge you movement speed.
It's not like 60 feet up in the air, like tiered stages
No, sir.
for
No, sir.
display. Because I was thinking like stadium seating at first when you talked about the stages.
No, sir. They'd probably be about 5 feet each.
Okay.
The front one might be 6 feet or some shit, or 7.
My only other thought then is that maybe we should, I don't know, refrain from.
Can't just
some-
pose as security around the stage?
That's what I'm thinking. Like some of us would sit in the seats maybe to stay close to the front stage here, but then like a few people might be stationed around that main stage in the event of like an attack or something. You could either be below it or on the stage, like interspersed with the gnomes. Maybe. I don't know.
Even have a fancy costume. I'm one of the machine handlers. Like ringmaster for a circus.
Maybe you get a fancy suit that gives you advantage on charisma checks when you're standing in the autonomes. I don't know.
Speaking of which, I got this cool item, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when I found out all that info, y'all remember pestering Devin about, hey, is there something I could do to get like advantage or something on
Pestering's a very strong word.
Not strong
some
enough.
sort of wisdom advantage or something?
Yeah. No, I remember this now.
My contacts have given me a periapt of mind warding.
Is it like a drink? Like a potion?
Parafat is a
pendant.
necklace.
Y'all see me with a new necklace, not a neck chip, Randy. Advantage on
Okay.
wisdom saves. Or sorry, advantage on being charmed or frightened.
At some point, Demos goes to like check your neck and prick your finger like we do with everybody every now and then, and you bleed white. It occurs to me like, wait a minute, you could be a different changeling. Like,
Actually, if you want to look at my blood, I'm gonna need you to roll a investigation check.
To be clear, this is the reason that I was so suspicious about him specifically, because we knew it was harder to identify them as changelings.
and
You see my blood bleed red, and I tell you, not all changelings. Do I say that?
not all changelings. I got it. Yeah, okay.
I would say. How would I say this? It would have been perfect earlier, but anyway, I show red blood, and I say, not all changelings bleed white.
Well, that fucks up my entire premise for checking people. God damn it.
But I then dispel the illusion, and you see that my red blood goes white.
Oh,
Ooh,
Clever,
you
clever.
sneaky boy.
I like that because now I've got to keep out for that. So I'm gonna start checking
It
that
is-
as I check.
You would. I don't know. This would. Devin could maybe rule that. You may know that was minor illusion.
Yeah,
it wasn't anything.
He's pranking you the same way he pranked Zephyr. I love that y'all carried that between like the continuities don't even cross for these campaigns, and I love it. Brandon's gonna prank everybody he can for every campaign ever.
Well, when it would. Yeah, I guess it was more of like, hey, look, I can do this. So
That's a good point.
let's not rule it out like, oh, changelings are just changelings and they always bleed white. They don't always. That just convolutes things even more.
To the plan. So I can carapace, Drix can carapace. I think it makes sense for me to go sit like in an area sort of behind that first pack of gnomes on the big stage, like the larger group, as if I was being a bodyguard, and just sort of like blend in behind them and hang out and sort of observe and just see what's going on, because I'm less likely to be noticed. And if somebody is like moving about or doing something that they shouldn't be doing, hopefully I could pick it up and telepathically shout to people from that location with my 120 feet, like, something's weird here. Maybe we should be aware. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is just sort of get up on that bigger stage with the non-sentient gnomes and just try to carapace in behind them and keep an eye on everything.
Are we expected to be sitting in those chairs?
If you ask Vera, she'll say, a little bit. Files wanted to introduce you all as the she looks not embarrassed, but she makes a little funny face. The commodores of this expedition. When he heard you would be bringing other ships, he thought it might lend an air of prestige to the expedition. We have been partners with House Morgrave and Bree to help make this happen, and we hope it goes well for our. God damn it, my brain broke. Reputation.
I was about to say image, but yeah.
Yeah,
I would
thank
just
you.
note that I ain't afraid to not get any credit. How about you
I was
just
about to
introduce?
say
How
we're a
about you just
spy
organization?
organization. How are you
just
gonna put
Introduce
us
like
on
3 or
blast?
4 of them, and I'll do what I do. I'll be invisible.
Maybe you introduce one as the Commodore, and then the other 5 or the other 4 are hidden.
I can look like a Commodore.
So that makes me giggle.
No, I mean, as far as charisma goes, Zephyr's definitely.
That's what I was giggling about. Zephyr brooding
Zephyr should
on
be the
stage.
That's right. I just pictured Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What was the dude with the double head's name?
I don't remember.
Zephyr or something stupid.
Don't forget your towel.
Yeah, right. That book.
Anyway. Yeah, so I have to ask since it's late. Is anybody need to stop?
To be honest, I am starting
Yeah.
to gas.
I'm definitely starting to fade a little bit in the cognitive planning department.
Zaphod.
Sounds like y'all. We
But-
can stop now if y'all want, but I'd like y'all to choose a plan so we can start with the ceremony.
I think we should choose a plan for sure. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to get up on the stage with Carapace in behind them so I can sort of keep an eye on everything that's going on around the stage.
I think I'm gonna major image a group of them because I can do up to 20 cubic feet. Have her come to her twice this week to have her make 16 of the sparse ones.
You have 4 days left. So you do the first day, I'm assuming, and then the second day.
Well, we have to wait the long rest, so I do the first and the fourth, I guess. I
Alright.
have to wait for the long rest.
Where's the long rest? Because we've taken so
there's
much
six-
time, we might
So
not
there's
line up.
6.
Let me look real quick. Just in case.
There's 16 fake ones, 6 shells, and then 12.
Hold on. Let's see
that
here.
are-
Let's see here. Let's see.
Oh, 6 plus 16.
Fuck. 15. Y'all spent the whole day of the 14 doing that downtime. You go the day before 2, 3, 4. That is the third. Oh, fuck. 1 second. I don't have fucking things marked off. You got pretty lucky. The day you're there is a long rest. Meaning you could do one those days while you're there. You could go back the very next day. And it would have all its charges back.
And yeah, so 16 illusions, 12 illusions, 16 fakes, 6 artificial ones. Means there would only have to be 2 plus the 3 alive ones. There would only be 5 actual autonomes in that stage.
Yeah.
That said, I would much rather not have the alive ones there if we can. Is there any way we could put just regular autonomes up there and hopefully nobody notice? This is the first time they're being shown off. Maybe nobody will know.
I agree with
Yeah,
you, but I
I
also
don't-
feel I don't know, like
I mean, I don't. It makes sense to me. None of them know the difference. You guys can't tell the difference, like a crew member and A1. At least in my mind, I wasn't imagining them looking any different, really, except for the fact like A1 might fidget like a real person. Like, he might move around and mess with his fingers.
But these people that are seeing this don't know that.
Indeed.
so. What if you have actual A1, you have an illusion, and then you have Echo, who is disguised himself as one of the other ones, so it doesn't look like just a bunch of A1s. To give a little bit of variety. I'm still on the stage. Carapace trying to blend in. You have Echo now blending into the sentient gnomes on the front stage to give an extra layer of defense. And then the rest of the party is ceremoniously in their chairs. You could have your Echo, like your illusion in the chair, to make it look like that's just Echo. That's who he is. Nobody's going to know any better because who knows you that well?
I don't know if that would be within 30 feet.
If you took the far right one, I have to assume, if you took the place of the far right one, you would have to be within 30 feet based on how big the stage area is.
He said
DM?
90 feet away from the long part.
Yeah, the very
Yeah,
farthest
that's
back
probably
one is
within
90
30
feet,
feet.
so I think like that closest chair right beside Vera to that closest sentient autonome would probably be about that range. Guessing.
From Vera
I'd
to the
say-
closest sentient autonome is 30 feet.
It is a translucent gray image of me.
That's what I'm saying though, like who's gonna know the difference? Like
It's
Vera knows the
gray.
difference, but who else is gonna know
Well,
the difference?
I think just doing it.
So,
I think if we just have Zephyr as the captain, quote unquote, and then the rest of us be unseen, just introduce him, and then we don't need to have
And
a duplicate there.
and it would be an image of an autognome. It would not be normal Echo.
It has to be the image of whatever you are.
I think that's the way we ruled it when I was pretending to be Aaron.
Okay. That's fair. In that case, Zephyr, speak up for yourself or don't. It's fine. I think we're just going to make Zephyr a representative.
Got the most riz.
And
Real dolled up.
I'm going to go hide on stage. I think that's my plan.
3, 2, 1. I seen you flicker, Zephyr.
Razzle dazzle.
Okay.
The old razzle dazzle.
Zephyr didn't say no, so I'm trying to stall so that I can turn this
Oh,
recording off.
sorry.
like-
I thought I had unmuted. I was gonna say Zephyr's used to being his face everywhere. We're gonna put him on billboards and stuff. So yeah, it's fine.
That's accurate.
Is accurate.